Hey guys, tonight we're setting sail for some of the roughest waters a human heart can face. Not stormy oceans, not pirate ships, but long seasons of waiting, confusion, and delayed success. Not the motivational poster kind of waiting, not the trust the process slogan kind. I mean the real kind of waiting, where prayers feel unanswered, doors keep closing, and it seems like everyone else is moving forward while you're stuck in place, wondering what you did wrong. So before you get comfortable, take a second to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what we do here. Leave a comment telling me where you're listening from and what time it is for you. Somehow, it's always 2 a.m. somewhere, especially when the heart is restless. Now dim the lights, switch on a fan, or let the quiet hum of the night settle in. Get comfortable, and maybe tuck your feet in. Not because of imaginary rats this time, but because tonight's story goes deep into the unseen wisdom behind hardship. Let's pause for a moment. Have you ever wondered why Allah delays the very thing you're praying for? Why talent doesn't immediately lead to success? Why sincerity doesn't always bring ease? Why good intentions sometimes seem to attract more trials instead of relief? Tonight, we're going to explore one of the most powerful answers ever given to those questions through the life of Prophet Yusuf, alayhi salam. A story of betrayal by family, of false accusation, of prison instead of promotion, of patience stretched over years, not days. And yet, a story where every delay was precise, every hardship was purposeful, every closed door was protecting something greater. This is not just a story about Yusuf. It's about you, about the silence between your prayers and their answers, about the strength Allah is building when you think nothing is happening. So take a slow breath in and let it out. You don't need to rush tonight. You don't need to understand everything right away. Just listen and let the wisdom unfold, gently, patiently, exactly on time. Chapter 1. The Light That Waited. The prison cell is carved from massive stone blocks, each one cold, heavy, and unmoved by time. The walls rise thick and unyielding, holding the silence close. Centuries of footsteps, prayers, and forgotten names seem pressed into the rock itself. The air is still, layered with age and mystery, carrying the weight of stories never fully told. This is where Prophet Yusuf waits. The cell is dim, lit only by a single ray of golden sunlight that pierces through a high, narrow window. It cuts through the darkness like a blade of hope, illuminating dust drifting slowly in the air. That beam does not move quickly. It arrives patiently, touching the floor for only a brief portion of the day before retreating again. Outside this cell lies Egypt, powerful, wealthy, alive with ambition. Inside, there is restraint. Yusuf sits in quiet composure, his back against cold stone, his heart steady despite the injustice surrounding him. He has done nothing wrong. Yet here he remains, imprisoned, forgotten by those who promised to remember him. Time stretches differently in places like this. Days feel long, nights feel endless. And still, Yusuf does not complain. This is the secret many overlook. Allah delays success not to punish, but to prepare. What appears to be abandonment is often refinement. In this prison, Yusuf is not being held back. He is being shaped. The silence teaches patience. The injustice strengthens reliance. The delay deepens wisdom. The golden light through the window becomes a daily reminder. Even in confinement, Allah's mercy reaches where it wills, not flooding the cell with brightness, but sending exactly what is needed, enough to see, enough to remember, enough to endure. Yusuf reflects, not in bitterness, but in trust. He remembers the dream of his youth, stars bowing, a sun and moon inclining toward him. The dream feels distant now, almost unreal, like something from another life. Yet Allah has not forgotten it. Delay does not erase destiny. Here, in the lowest point of his journey, Yusuf learns what no palace could teach: leadership before authority, humility before honor, patience before power. Had success come earlier, it would have crushed him. Had victory arrived without delay, the wisdom needed to carry it would be missing. Allah delays because what is coming is heavy, and the servant must be strong enough to bear it. The prison cell is not empty. It holds lessons. It holds preparation. It holds the unseen work of Allah. People come to Yusuf with dreams they cannot understand, and even here, in chains, in confinement, Allah uses him. Yusuf interprets truthfully, speaks gently, and remains upright. He does not allow bitterness to poison his character. That is the real test. Not whether you are patient when things improve, but whether you remain righteous when nothing changes. The sunlight shifts slowly, climbing the wall before fading again. Darkness returns, but Yusuf's heart remains illuminated. He knows something others do not, that Allah's timing is never late. What feels like delay is often divine arrangement. Soon, though he does not know when, the prison doors will open, not by accident, not by chance, but by decree. And when Yusuf steps out, he will not step into relief alone. He will step into purpose. The delay will reveal itself as mercy. The waiting will prove necessary. The prison will become part of the testimony. For those listening now, this cell speaks. It reminds us that unanswered prayers are not rejected prayers, that success delayed is not success denied, that Allah sometimes hides elevation behind hardship, so the heart does not break under sudden honor. The cell remains quiet. The stone stays cold. The light continues to return each day. And in that narrow space between darkness and hope, Allah prepares His servant, patiently, perfectly, until the moment arrives when delay becomes destiny fulfilled. Chapter 2. The Boy at the Well. Salam alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Are you ready to embark on an enchanting journey? Picture this. Tonight, we find ourselves somewhere more sun-baked than a roast chicken left in the Sahara for a week. The vast, dusty desert landscape of ancient Egypt, circa 1700 to 1600 BCE. No, it's not a vacation gone wrong. It's just a Tuesday in the life of one very special young man, Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him. Now, before we dive into our story, let me ask you a few absurdly relatable questions. Have you ever stared at your inbox, half expecting someone to hand you the promotion of your dreams, only to discover you've been promoted to daily dose of disappointment? Or how about those days when your Wi-Fi decides to go on vacation, much like your motivation to go to the gym? Spoiler alert, it's not coming back anytime soon, and your Netflix queue still hates you. Imagine if you were Yusuf, standing at the edge of a deep well instead. So, get cozy. Turn down the lights a bit. This isn't a horror movie, peeps. And if you can, find a nice fan to cool those sweaty palms. Take a deep breath, and let's begin. Now, let me set this scene for you. You find yourself in a sun-soaked landscape, surrounded by long shadows cast by towering figures. It's as if the sun itself is playing tricks on you, mischievously blending the colors of twilight, deep oranges and purples swirling together, creating a masterpiece painted by nature's hand. The air, warm yet dry, carries the faint scent of sandalwood, and, if you pay close attention, maybe even a hint of something. Could it be the aroma of dinner simmering somewhere far off? Or perhaps the scent of adventure? You blink your eyes and notice a young boy standing precariously at the edge of a deep, dark well, looking like a glowing moonbeam amongst shadows that are, quite frankly, casting some serious vibes. The boy, known as Yusuf, possesses an unearthly charm. His face radiates beauty and innocence, making you think he could be the poster child for what not to look like when you forget sunscreen. Those shadows looming over him? They're related, but they're feeling a little more ominous than protective at the moment. It's fascinating to think, what could possibly bring a young lad like Yusuf here? Was he having a casual chat with his brothers, tossing stones into the well as they mocked each other like a long-standing family tradition? Or maybe, just maybe, it was a dramatic family meeting that somehow took a turn for the worse, like that one Thanksgiving dinner where someone inevitably brings up politics. As you watch this unfolding drama, your mind wanders. You wonder if Yusuf was secretly hoping he'd find treasure down the well, or if he expected a genie to pop out and grant him 3 wishes. Because, let's be honest, who wouldn't want that? Or perhaps he would just wish for a peaceful family reunion, so he could avoid everything that's about to happen. But no, dear listener, what's truly interesting here is how this moment encapsulates a profound lesson about timing. You see, sometimes Allah takes His sweet time in our lives, making us wait longer than we'd like. We've all been there, right? Standing there like Yusuf, pepping ourselves up to face the unknown, excited but terrified, while holding on to the hope that things will turn out for the best. As the sun begins to sink lower in the sky, it feels like even the heavens are holding their breath, waiting to see what will unfold from this critical moment. The tension thickens, and the shadows stretch longer, creeping into the edges of the well, as if eager to swallow whatever secrets lay hidden in its depths. Then, without warning, you're jolted back into the reality of your surroundings. You realize you're not merely a passive observer. You embody the very essence of this tale, a reminder that life often lures us into the abyss just before it pulls us up into the light. Suddenly, from deep within the well, a distant echo resounds, a siren call beckoning you closer, urging you to discover the deeper truths buried beneath the surface. Yusuf stands on the edge, reflecting not just the light around him, but also the weight of impending challenges. Does he leap into the unknown, or does he stay rooted, waiting for the right moment? You can't help but chuckle, imagining Yusuf very much like that one friend who can't decide on a restaurant for dinner. Let's go here. No, wait, how about that one? Ah, indecision, the silent partner in everyone's life story. The irony is palpable. Sometimes blessings come wrapped in the guise of adversity, much like that pizza you ordered that arrived with pineapple. For the record, we don't need to discuss those life decisions now. So, keep your ears tuned and your heart open, dear listener, as we venture into the tale of Prophet Yusuf, where we'll uncover the hidden wisdom in waiting, the power of perseverance, and the beauty that lies buried beneath the surface of our lives. As you drift into a peaceful slumber, remember that every twist in this story is a step toward revealing the grand tapestry that Allah has woven just for you. Stay with us. The best is yet to come. And while this might seem like a sleepy story, believe me, it's anything but boring. You wouldn't want to miss it. Chapter 3. The Young Man in a Marketplace of Shadows. Salam alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Tonight, we embark on a journey more vibrant than a rainbow at a juggling competition. Welcome to the bustling marketplaces of ancient Egypt, circa 1700 to 1600 BCE. Picture this, a sun-drenched square filled with more chatter than your neighborhood cafe on a weekend. A true hub of energy, life, and some questionable fashion choices. Linen robes? Really? So before we take the plunge into our tale, let me ask you, have you ever shown up at a party and immediately regretted your outfit? You know, when you thought it was casual, but everyone else dressed like they just stepped out of a fashion magazine? Or remember that time you went to a buffet and left, even though you'd only had the appetizer? Seriously, you could have just declared it a snack. Now imagine navigating a marketplace where everyone's business is your business, and you're the freshest bean in the pod. Now, get cozy, adjust your pillows, perhaps grab a snack you shouldn't really be snacking on, and take a deep breath. We're about to plummet into a scene worthy of its own dramatic backdrop, because you, yes you, have just woken up in the heart of ancient Egypt. As you step into this warm, dusty marketplace, the sun glistens off the vibrant fabrics everywhere, casting a kaleidoscope of colors that would make a peacock green with envy. The merchants hawk their wares, shouting louder than your grandma during bingo night. Fresh figs! Exotic spices! Have you tried our new olive oils? If only they had a catchy jingle to seal the deal. You glance around and spot a young man standing amidst the swirling chaos, his posture as dignified as a CEO at a non-profit gala. Yet there's a distinct twinkle in his eye, reminiscent of someone whose friend has just told him a superbly bad joke. This young man is none other than Yusuf, peace be upon him, strikingly handsome and radiant, like a beacon of light in a room where everyone else forgot to put on deodorant. Seriously, you have to wonder if he had a secret stash of anti-aging creams or magic beauty potions. His features are so captivating that you might feel a twinge of envy. Did he steal one of those heavenly robes, or was he just born with that natural glow? As he navigates through the marketplace, there's an air of nobility about him, but he's also relatable in the most delightful ways. It's as if he's the wholesome protagonist of a sitcom. You can imagine the episode where he accidentally trips and spills figs down a merchant's outfit, only to smile sheepishly, charming the crowd into laughter. Speaking of laughter, let's take a moment to consider the hustle and bustle around you. Ever been in a crowded restaurant and watched as someone spills their drink all over the table just moments after they've bragged about their impeccable coordination? That's the vibe of the marketplace today. Each merchant has a story, every passerby a quirk. Someone accidentally drops a basket of dates. Another yells, "Watch out for those camels," while a dog dashes by, snatching a loaf of bread. Picture it all: the chaos, the sounds, and the sweet smell of richly spiced meats wafting through the air. Despite all the revelry, a curious undertow lingers in the air, and you can't quite put your finger on it. There's a mix of excitement and uncertainty here, much like that feeling you get trying to figure out the rules of a board game no one wants to read. Yusuf's brothers? Well, they're lurking in the crowd like characters from a dramatic soap opera, their murmurings filled with tension. As you watch Yusuf, something catches your ear. "Why do we keep waiting for our dreams?" one merchant muses. Another responds, "Because Allah has a plan, and sometimes the waiting is meant to prepare us for what's to come." You almost nod, feeling deeply moved, as if you stumbled upon a support group for the indefinitely patient. It resonates with your own morning coffee struggles, waiting for it to brew perfectly, while your day feels perpetually paused. And, like that coffee, sometimes the anticipation is all part of the journey. The sun begins to dip lower in the sky, casting a golden light over the bustling market, as if Allah is sprinkling magic dust to tune everyone in for an evening performance. The tone subtly shifts. The gasps of the crowd echo like the sound of rustling leaves, and the chaos pauses momentarily. Yusuf, standing amidst it all, serves as a gentle reminder that success isn't simply about glitz and glam. It's a journey steeped in patience, courage, and, yes, some lovely moments of comic relief. With a wink and a soft smile, Yusuf seems to symbolize that it's okay to be caught in a moment of waiting, as long as you learn from it. He draws in the crowd not just with his looks, but through an unexplainable aura that reassures everyone that something amazing is just around the corner. So, as you lay back and allow yourself to drift into the serenity of this tale, remember that life, much like the marketplace, is filled with unpredictable twists and turns. Sometimes the success we yearn for is delayed, but with patience and faith, it arrives in ways we could never have dreamed. Embrace that thought as you drift off, secure in the knowledge that Allah's timing is always perfect, even if it sometimes feels more like waiting for a bus that never seems to arrive. Stay close, dear listener. The best is still to come, and this marketplace adventure is just warming up. Chapter 4: The Grand Intrigue of the Egyptian Palace. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Imagine for a moment that you find yourself whisked away to a grand palace in ancient Egypt. Yes, we're talking about a place more luxurious than your vague attempts at cooking three-course dinners during the last holiday season. It's around 1700 to 1600 BCE, during the magnificence of the Hyksos kings. Picture it: ornate pillars stretching upward like they're trying to poke the clouds, and colorful wall paintings that would make even modern-day graffiti artists eager to learn a few tricks. Now, while you settle into this scene, have you ever wondered how on earth people managed to keep their clothes clean without a washing machine? Or how they avoided awkward encounters with their neighbors when inviting guests over? Hey, can you keep it down? The figures from last week's dinner party are just now falling off the walls. Quite the balancing act, really. So, dear friends, dim the lights, turn on a gentle fan, and nestle comfortably into your pillow. Breathe in the scent of ancient spices wafting through the air, the echoes of laughter and chatter mingling with the gentle rustle of silk and linen. Picture your outfit, more modern chic and less vintage linen disaster, if you can. Now, as we glide through the finely painted corridors of this palace, let's ponder our protagonist. How on earth did he manage to stand out in a world where everyone seemed like royalty? Did he have an endless supply of hair gel? Or maybe a stylish belt that caught every eye, even during dinner parties? Congratulations, my friend. You've just woken up in an Egyptian palace that sparkles with treasures and drama at every corner. This was the era when Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, found himself as a beacon of hope amidst a whirlwind of chaos. Before you lies a heavy wooden door, more magnificent than your favorite childhood storybook. A striking woman dressed in vibrant royal attire stands valiantly beside it, turning a large metal key, her beauty rivaling even the stars above. She leans slightly, her fragrant oils mixing with the scents of sandalwood lingering in the air. If you were to peek through the door, you could only imagine the caravan of whispers and schemes brewing within. Now picture this. The key turns with a heavy clink that resonates in the stillness of the hallway, echoing off marble columns like a gossiping servant eavesdropping on royal secrets. The door creaks open, revealing a world as colorful and chaotic as an old-fashioned bazaar, where nothing made sense, but everything seemed terribly enchanting. As you walk in, imagine the soft light filtering down, illuminating the vast room decorated with frescoes portraying grand battles and divine meetings. The walls, layered with paint so vibrant they may as well be shouting, "Look at us!" tell stories of triumph and tragedy, love and betrayal. A cacophony of sounds fills the chamber. People shuffling about, perhaps arguing over who borrowed whose favorite scarf. "I swear I left it right here." You could almost hear the nervous laughter of servants trying to keep things running smoothly. Every corner of the room is alive with the drama of the royal court. And who doesn't love a little intrigue? Imagine a scene akin to a soap opera, but with more ornate jewelry and fewer plot holes. The woman beside you looks around as if expecting something, or someone, anything that could disrupt the divine order of her perfectly arranged chaos. "Did anyone find my peacock feather? Honestly, what's a queen without her edges?" she muses, her eyes rolling dramatically. As you glance around, you notice lavish tapestries that tell tales of rich harvests, loud feasts, and even a questionable game of dice that ended in quite the scandal last week. You can hear someone whispering about how much time the servants took preparing lavish meals while secretly boiling their own kitchen disasters in the back. Is it just me, you ponder? Or does waiting for success feel a lot like waiting for water to boil on a windy day? Every flicker in the corner making you jump. In this world filled with ranks and riches, Yusuf remained a steadfast reminder that patience isn't just a virtue. It's often the best recipe for success. As the woman looks intensely at the closed door, a thought flashes through her mind. Perhaps she's contemplating whether to open it. Maybe she's just rather curious about what happens on the other side. This moment could change everything, as did Yusuf's journey from a mere dreamer to a savior, demonstrating that sometimes The path to our dreams is paved with delays and unexpected detours. With one final look around, you spot the polished floors reflecting the glistening structure above, and realize they hold the weight of untold stories. Much like Yusuf, who also had his fair share of chaos before rising to greatness. The palace thrums with the heartbeat of life, promising that success isn't just an endpoint, but a grand adventure filled with laughter and cosmic whirs, shaped by patience, trials, and just a touch of divine humor. So slip comfortably into the echo of this enchanting tale. Remember, just as this grand palace holds mysteries within its walls, so too does Allah's plan for every one of us. And as you drift into slumber, reflect on this. Sometimes, the most delightful victories require the sweetest delays. Keep your dreams close. They are wafting toward you like the fragrant spices spinning softly in the air. Stay with us, dear listeners. Our journey has merely begun, and there's much more of royalty and faith to explore. Chapter 5. The Pursuit of a Dream. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Tonight, we embark on a journey even more dramatic than your last family reunion, where everyone's discussing their grand accomplishments, and you're just trying to remember if you brought the right salad dressing for the potluck. Now, picture this. It's circa 1700 to 1600 BCE, and you find yourself in ancient Egypt, a time when the Hyksos kings ruled like they were sporting crowns made of solid gold. It's hotter than your cousin's spicy meatballs at the last holiday gathering, and you're right in the heart of the action. Now, before we dive deeper into the drama of Prophet Yusuf, I have a few pressing questions for you. Have you ever tried running away from your problems, only to find your favorite shirt snagged by a pesky doorknob? Or perhaps you found yourself sprinting toward an opportunity, only to see it close just as you reach out. Dear friends, has waiting ever felt like waiting for a text back from that one friend who mysteriously fell off the grid? If you've answered yes to any of these, then you might relate to the saga of Prophet Yusuf on a whole new level. Congratulations, you've just woken up in the grand palace of ancient Egypt, unlike any you've seen in your history books. Imagine it. You stand before a heavy, ornate door, grander than anything you'd see on an Instagram influencer's feed. Golden inlays glimmering like they've just been dipped in sunshine. The sunlight pours through cracks, illuminating the polished marble floors that echo with the whispers of both noblemen and curious servants. Now, take a moment, dear listeners, to support your head on your palm and feel every detail as if you were there. The air is thick with the scent of frankincense mingling with the sweetness of honey. Much better than that weird combo of old gym socks and stale popcorn you sometimes smell at the movies. You see Yusuf standing there, his white linen garment flowing like a river, behind him as he runs toward that grand door. There's a sense of urgency, his determination palpable, as if he's about to score the winning ticket in a lottery you didn't even know was happening. And just as he reaches for the door, a hand suddenly grabs hold of the hem of his garment, pulling him back. Imagine the shock. It's almost like tripping on your own shoelaces while dancing at a wedding. But Yusuf doesn't falter. He glances back with a firm expression of faith that could put even the most stoic of us to shame. Have you ever had that moment where everything felt like it was crumbling around you, but you held on patiently, perhaps thinking, let's just see where this goes? That's Yusuf for you, running towards success, yet weighed down by trials that seem heavier than your uncle's stories about his fishing exploits in the Nile. The palace buzzes around him, servants scurrying, nobles arguing over the best place for their camels, and the sound of exotic instruments beneath the hilariously awkward attempts of a jester trying to make the queen laugh. It truly is a scene. The door creaks ominously, almost as if it's contemplatively deciding whether to be a portal to success or the gateway to your next existential crisis. But why does Yusuf press on? This moment becomes not just about escaping a grasp, but embracing a destiny larger than himself. Have you ever had that nagging feeling? like there's a big test waiting for you, and you're the only one who didn't study? Perhaps like when you've eagerly awaited a big promotion at work, hands sweating, heart racing, only to learn it's been postponed for reasons you cannot control. As Yusuf lunges forward, you can almost hear the thoughts racing through his mind. I've faced betrayal, imprisonment, and misunderstood dreams, but Allah has a plan. This door, it's just my ticket to the kingdom. The balcony adjoining the door beckons, shadows of doubt racing after him like overly eager flies at a summer picnic. But let's not forget, dear listeners, Allah's timing isn't always our timing. You see, Yusuf's journey is much like the process of making the perfect cup of tea. You can't just throw the bag in boiling water and expect to chug down an excellent brew. Patience is key. You must wait, allowing flavors to meld, dreams to simmer, and all those spices of life to shine through the chaos. It's like waiting for your cat to finally decide to sit on your lap. It takes forever, but when it finally does, it's pure bliss. Your heart is warm, and suddenly all the drama of the day fades away, replaced by soft purring. As you watch Yusuf navigate the twists and turns of the palace, there's a gentle reminder that success often comes after the struggle. It's that tender moment of realizing that waiting, sometimes without understanding, can be a part of a greater plan. Every setback transforms into a setup for something amazing. Realizing this, you begin slipping into the warmth of sleep, just like how you would snuggle into your blankets after a long day. Remember, my dear listeners, like Yusuf, sometimes success requires you to outrun a few hands pulling you back. Embrace faith, and remember that Allah's plan is often more beautiful than you could have ever imagined. As you drift off, think about your own journey and the doors that await you up ahead. Perhaps with a comedic twist, like that time your favorite shirt found itself stuck in the laundry with a red sock. All is not lost. Keep your faith. Stay with us. Our adventure through the life of Prophet Yusuf continues, guiding us through dreams, patience, and unexpected realms of joy and laughter. Until next time, dear friends, rest easy and let the night cradle you gently. Chapter 6. The Council of Shadows. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Tonight, we take a detour sharper than that uncle's joke at holiday gatherings. Are you ready to dive deeper? Picture it. Ancient Egypt, circa 1700 to 1600 BCE, where the pyramids are the trendiest tourist attractions, and the Nile is like the hot new social media platform everyone is trying to get on. People wear white robes like they're always ready for a tea party, but the gossip is juicier than the sweetest dates on the market. As you settle in, perhaps you're wondering, have you ever been at a meeting so serious that even the coffee machine looked anxious? Or watched as a bunch of clueless individuals attempted a group project at work, and you thought, did anyone bring a plan, or are we just here for snacks? Or maybe, just maybe, you found yourself caught in the drama of a family gathering where everyone's pointing fingers, but no one actually wants to take the blame. Well, hold on to your pillows, because as we step into this chapter, we find ourselves eavesdropping on a clandestine council of the wealthiest Egyptian officials, clad in gleaming white robes and dripping gold jewelry, gathered around a stone table as important as any wrestling match commentator could muster. Congratulations! You've just been plopped into one of those classic, I can't believe this is happening moments. The noblemen's voices are murmurings twirling in the air like autumn leaves. The tension is thicker than the humidity in a summer day back home, so thick you could slice it with a ceremonial dagger. "Did you hear?" whispers one official, his gold earrings swaying more than his resolve. "We need to cover this up, and we need someone to blame. Someone with a squeaky clean reputation, but enough to hang our hats on. Maybe that poor lad, Yusuf." Picture his colleagues, nodding vigorously in anxious agreement, like penguins seeking refuge in an ice storm. For these fellows, loyalty is about as dependable as an umbrella in a sandstorm. Their minds whirl with thoughts of wealth and power, like a game of chess where every move could cost someone a head. And we're not talking about the chess pieces, dear listeners. Now, it doesn't take the wisdom of a sage to see where this is headed. The plan is to sacrifice this innocent man, the one who saw dreams as clear as crystal, bursting with meaning and hope. It's almost comically ironic, like someone tripping over their own feet just as they're about to strike a pose for a family photo. The lead official, with a face resembling a sun-baked potato, stands up suddenly, startling those near him. He waves his hands dismissively, as if to shoo away an invisible mosquito, which probably just buzzed around his elaborate headdress, a sight so extravagant it could probably serve as an umbrella in a pinch. Listen up. We can't let this get out. It's an embarrassment to the crown. We need a scapegoat and—
Fast!
One of the younger officials, clearly more concerned about their fashion choices than the morbid discussion at hand, chimes in nervously.
But what if Allah has different plans for Yusuf? He's talented, like one of those ingenious chefs who can whip up a feast from leftover dates and dusty bread.
A chuckle springs from the group, one that resonates deeper than a stone against stone. But not for long, as the gravity of their intentions lurks like a hungry lion waiting to pounce.
Enough wit,
the lead official barks. It's as if he's suddenly remembered his role as the deliverer of doom.
We need to decide. This is no time for levity. Our very fortunes rest on this matter.
You can almost visualize the sweat gathering under their ornate gold necklaces as if they were tiny pools of regret. The room goes quiet, each man contemplating the moral implications of their haunting conspiracy. Then, somewhat comically, one of them reaches nervously into a bowl of figs as if they were grabbing fortune cookies. Let's make a toast then, to the demise of Yusuf. May it be swift and serve our interests well. They raise their goblets, the sound echoing against the cold stone wall, sounding almost as hollow as their intentions. Now imagine the absurdity of it all. A group of powerful men, rich enough to buy entire cities, worried about the fate of one individual. They might as well be fretting over who gets the last slice of baklava at a wedding. And yet, their decision, rooted in fear and greed, is set to change the course of history. Perhaps even thicker than that aroma of incense wafting through the palace that symbolizes the kingdom's grandeur. As these privileged men scheme and plan, the narrative reminds us that sometimes what seems dire could lead to paths we can't yet see. Have you ever found yourself making light of difficult choices instead? Perhaps trying to look cheerful when you know your cat just knocked over a vase, and you're about to face the wrath of your family members? The darkness looms over them as they laugh nervously, blinding them from what is to come, a lesson of faith, of patience, and of divine timing. Little do they know Allah's plan is already on its way, sprawling like an artist painting a masterpiece. So, as you sink further into your cozy pillow and blankets, remember, sometimes it is the unexpected turns in our lives, the ones full of twists, laughter, and perhaps a little betrayal, that lead us toward the things we truly need. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let the essence of these ancient tales remind you of the resilience we all carry within, and the divine timing that orchestrates the symphony of our lives. Stay tuned, dear friends, for as we drift deeper into the story of Prophet Yusuf, we'll uncover just how all this drama unfolds with the grace of divine intervention and maybe a sprinkle of cosmic hilarity. Sleep well. Chapter 7. The Descent into Darkness. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Tonight, we embark on an adventure more thrilling than trying to assemble IKEA furniture without instructions. Imagine this. Ancient Egypt, circa 1700 to 1600 BCE, a time when the pyramids were not just a marvel, but also the place where fashionable partygoers strut around, donning the latest linen styles. But don't be fooled. Behind the glamorous facade, there lurks a plot thicker than a pharaoh's wig. As you settle into your pillows, perhaps you're wondering, have you ever felt like you were about to break into dance in a very serious meeting, only to realize that your boss was staring at you like you just sprouted wings? Ever tried to navigate through holiday family gatherings and realize that being nice is like walking on a tightrope? Well, buckle up, because we're about to witness one of the most dramatic events in the life of Prophet Yusuf. Picture this: a long, narrow corridor, cooler than the day you finally figured out how to use your phone's camera. Just a smidgen more foreboding, though. You see, it's a prison. And not just any prison. This is the kind of place where dreams go to die. Sometimes literally. Now, imagine soldiers clad in armor, their faces grim as they lead a young man down this alley of despair. But there's something remarkable about him. He walks with his head held high, like he just found a crisp $20 bill in his old jeans, betraying no hint of fear or anger. As you dodge the dust swirling around like disgruntled spirits in a tragic comedy, you can almost hear the clinking of chains, a sound reminiscent of an ancient musical ensemble all too eager to play a grim tune, like the world's worst wedding band. Yet, amid this cacophony, there is a serene presence radiating from Yusuf. Let's take a closer look. Can you feel the chill of the stone walls against your shoulder? The air here is thick and musty, hinting at tales of sorrow, locked away in every corner. There's a strange mix of scents, too. The odor of damp earth mingling with hints of dried figs. Yet Yusuf's spirit is not crushed. No, dear listeners. He looks ahead, his gaze unwavering, as if he's searching for the soft glow of a street lamp in a misty fog. His heart beats steady, as if keeping time to a hidden rhythm, a tugging reminder that every situation carries the seeds of change. The soldiers march alongside him, perhaps hoping that their grim task will somehow earn them praise in a world that often overlooks the goodness in the hearts of its people. Now imagine the soldiers whispering to each other with all the seriousness of a late-night infomercial. Do you think he knows he's headed straight into the depths of despair? One mumbles, scratching his beard thoughtfully. Nah, replies the other, adjusting the strap on his sword with the skill of someone who clearly doesn't remember that last time he sharpened it. It's just a prison. But I heard this dude's got some crazy dreams. Apparently that's the reason he's here. Talking about wheat and stars, like he's dreaming of a harvest festival in the afterlife. You chuckle silently. How amusing they find his dreams when you know the wisdom locked within Yusuf. Dreams that, more than mere visions, they are messages from Allah, a divine map guiding him through tumultuous terrains. As they walk further, the air grows heavier, as if the universe itself is watching, waiting for the next sequence as if it's a scene from the world's favorite soap opera. The path seems endless, and you can practically hear the lock turning on the dungeon door, the sound echoing with finality. Should have brought snacks, one soldier mutters under his breath, a hint of longing in his tone. It's a relatable mishap, like showing up at a potluck with only a half-eaten bag of chips. In a way, it lightens the severity of the moment, a humorous reminder that, even in the face of despair, a chuckle can make two hearts less heavy. But Yusuf's resolve shines brightly, like a full moon illuminating the dark. He knows that this detour is merely a chapter in his journey, one that carries within it the potential for revelations greater than he, or anyone, could imagine. As he is led deeper, he maintains a stillness. It's as if he's been equipped with the armor of patience and faith. Remind you of the last time you stood in line at a grocery store, waiting while the barista decides if the coffee machine is a friend or foe? When you're standing there, you see the world in slow motion, every tick of the clock echoing your own heartbeat. Imagine, when Yusuf peers through the dark, he sees not shadows but challenges, potential obstacles that could shape him into something extraordinary. Like a caterpillar imprisoned in its cocoon, Yusuf's journey, much like all ours, is about transforming despair into the wings of hope. Ah, dear. Listeners, as you drift deeper into this story of trials and triumphs, remember that plateaus may often feel like prisons, but every moment, steeped in patience, is preparing the ground for a future flourishing. As you close your eyes, surrender to the warmth of this wisdom and allow the story of Prophet Yusuf to cradle you into tranquility. Because, like him, every glorious success starts with a few bumps in the road and possibly a detour through an ancient prison. Stay tuned as our adventure continues. With every twist and turn in Yusuf's journey, we'll discover not just trials and tribulations, but the profound truths that Allah has in store for him, and for you too. Sleep well. Chapter 8. The Stone Cell and the Peace Within. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Tonight, we shift gears and find ourselves in a space more confined than your cousin's never-ending tales about their cat. It's cooler in here, perhaps chillingly so, like an unexpected September breeze against your cheek. You are now in the dim confines of a stone cell from ancient Egypt, a place where dreams appear to hang like cobwebs in a dusty corner, waiting for a spark to bring them to life. As you get cozy on your feather pillows, image you are nestled on a simple straw mat, feeling the prickles of the coarse fibers against your skin. Here lies Prophet Yusuf, a young man alone, but his gaze is lifted high, as if he's spotted the last bubble of joy in a fizzy drink that has lost all its spark. Imagine trying to find serenity while seated in a cold, gloomy location that feels cheerier than your Monday morning commute. Now consider, have you ever felt an inexplicable calm while in dire straits? Maybe during a dinner conversation where your Aunt Nadine reveals that she has 47 cats. Or perhaps when the Wi-Fi went out and you suddenly found yourself at the mercy of prolonged silence. In such moments, there's a stirring within, an innate ability to pivot away from chaos towards inner peace. Picture Yusuf. He rests his head against the wall, feeling the rough stone, now more a friend than an adversary. Can you hear it? The silence hangs in the air like an awkward pause after a well-rehearsed punchline. Heavy, but oddly comforting. The chill seeps into his bones, and yet his heart remains warm, radiating a sense of understanding deeper than the stone itself. As he closes his eyes, you wonder what thoughts flit through his mind. Is it the memory of home, filled with laughter and colors so vibrant they would make a modern Instagram filter feel inadequate? Or is it the uncertainty of the future, gnawing at the edges of his spirit, like that one slightly too sweet dessert you can't stop picking at? Let's get a closer look at this extraordinary young man. Yusuf opens his eyes, piercing the darkness that envelops him. Trusting in Allah's plan, he embraces the stillness surrounding him, surrendering his worries to the divine. What's a little confinement to someone who's destined for greatness? He muses inwardly. Each moment here feels like a lesson cloaked in shadows, each breath a whisper of patience, reminding him that nothing worthwhile comes easy, just like waiting for a new smartphone model to be available. You can almost visualize the flickering light of hope reflected in Yusuf's soulful eyes. Wouldn't it be wild if he suddenly proclaimed, "My life is like a Netflix series, binge-worthy but not yet released." Yet he knows that behind this dull plot twist lies the possibility of an astonishing climax. The world outside may be chaotic, replete with plots thicker than the gravy your mother insists on serving at Thanksgiving. But here, in the depths of his solitude, Yusuf's spirit dances gracefully. Can you imagine the thoughts of the guards outside? Are they grumbling about their duties like reluctant office workers waiting for Friday? This guy's just sitting there, probably daydreaming about winning a game show, one might chuckle, scratching his chin as if pondering the deep, existential meaning of his own choices. Success won't come to him just because he dreams, another might counter, convinced success is more elusive than a decent parking spot at the mall. Little do they know that Yusuf's journey is actually unfolding in ways they can't see. Each stone in this cell serves as a stepping stone towards a destiny peppered with twists and turns. Ah, mealtime. The wind through the bars may offer nothing but the faintest hint of a warm breeze, devoid of significant nourishment. Unlike your latest culinary experiment that seems to have fed everyone but yourself, Yusuf isn't thinking about the meals missed. Instead, he finds solace in the knowledge that he is not the first to face hardship. He reflects on the trials of past prophets, how many also stared into the abyss before experiencing the miraculous. Suddenly, a burst of laughter booms from the guards, breaking the solemnity of the moment. I bet he's plotting an escape involving a bunch of birds and a mysterious final twist, like in one of those epic blockbusters, one guard exclaims to another, who chuckles back. Or perhaps he is just trying to figure out how to ask for some breadcrumbs. Ah, the meaning found among the absurdity. They might jest, but Yusuf knows this cell is a temporary phase, a plot twist in a grand narrative. The whispers of patience and perseverance echo through the cold walls, nurturing a hope that success can sometimes be delayed, but never denied. So, as you lean back into your warm cocoon of blankets, let Yusuf's journey remind you that even in the unlikeliest of places, whether a stone cell or a mundane Monday, peace can be found. Like a flower blooming bravely amidst cracks in the pavement, it's often the detours that lead us to our grandest destinations. Sleep well, dear listener, for all that glitters is not gold, but every darkened path can lead to the light. Stay tuned as we explore more chapters in Yusuf's life and uncover the profound lessons woven into his story. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next episode where success begins to unfold unexpectedly. Let me know if you'd like to proceed with more segments. Chapter 9. The Fortress of Solitude. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Picture this. You're about to embark on a journey that's cooler than your old auntie's dance moves at weddings. Tonight, we find ourselves in ancient Egypt, circa 1700 to 1600 BCE, a time when style involved elaborate headdresses and when fashionably late meant showing up just before the sun set. No one likes a lonely sunset, right? So, grab your favorite cozy blanket, dim the lights, and let's embark on our story. Now, while you're getting comfortable, let's ponder a few absurd yet relatable questions. Have you ever been stuck in a waiting room that felt as long as a Monday? Or perhaps you've had that moment when you realize your lunch is missing. Suddenly, life feels heavier than a pyramid. What if you found yourself in a massive stone prison, endlessly surrounded by desert sands, where success felt as distant as your car keys when you're already late? Oh, the joy of delays. Imagine, you're there, in that ancient prison cell, as magnificent as a fortress, yet devoid of freedom. A place that feels both confining and oddly protective. Isn't it funny how sometimes, in our lives, we create our own prisons, like Netflix binges that last a little too long, or those times when you dedicate an hour to scrolling through old family photos instead of tackling your to-do list. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 16th century BCE Egypt, the land of the pyramids and pharaohs, but not quite the land of comfort, at least for our dear Prophet Yusuf. Now let me paint you a picture. As sunlight spills over the horizon, casting a gentle glow across the landscape, you find yourself gazing out at a massive stone complex, a prison built like a fortress, echoing with the laughter, complaints, and occasional bickering of guards. You can hear the distant bleating of sheep and the ambient sounds of the bustling market outside, where life moves on, seemingly oblivious to the conundrum unfolding within those sturdy walls. Let's take a closer look, shall we? As you peer inside, your eyes adjust to the dimness of the cell where young Yusuf finds himself. The walls seem thicker than your last chunk of holiday fruitcake, solid and immovable. But our friend Yusuf, he's got a twinkle in his eye, as if he knows something the rest of us could learn. In this heavy silence, imagine the smell of aged stone mingling with the faint traces of incense wafting in from the outside world. Is that a hint of grilled meat from a vendor in the marketplace? What a contrast. You can almost hear Yusuf's stomach grumbling, groaning louder than a classic sitcom laugh track. Now, you might wonder, what goes through the mind of someone in such a predicament? Perhaps he contemplates the nature of time. Why does everything seem like it takes forever? Have you ever felt that way when waiting for your pizza delivery? Yusuf, with his wild hair and boundless dreams, must be, sitting there thinking it's less about the prison walls and more about the possibilities waiting for him outside.
Maybe one day I'll run a successful bakery, he muses, rolling his eyes at the guards who seem to have the imagination of a rock. Success is delayed, but never denied, he whispers to himself, channeling the wisdom to be found within patience. Here's a guy, confined in a stone prison, yet dreaming about conquering his own personal Everest, whatever mountain that may be. There's humor in his predicament, isn't there? Picture him trying to motivate others. Cheer up, guys. We could be stuck in the desert with no water, but here we are, in a fortress. As clothing tattered and time drags, Yusuf uses these moments to reflect. He can hear the guards' laughter outside, probably debating whether pineapple belongs on pizza or not. It's like waiting for a bad review of a movie you know will tank, he murmurs under his breath, trying to lighten
The mood within his own heart.
Every sound you hear outside the prison serves as a reminder that life continues beyond these walls. You wonder if any of those guards ever find themselves resenting their roles, living lives as tedious as watching paint dry. Ever thought about the daily grind and how workers complain about Monday mornings? These walls may confine me, Yusuf thinks, but maybe their gripes hold more weight than I realize. After all, even the most steadfast combinations of duty can crumble under the weight of a stone. As raindrops occasionally dance against the stone exterior, though you've never seen a rain here, have you? Yusuf draws strength from these natural occurrences, like someone finding solace in their favorite blankets during a storm. If only I could sail away on the clouds, he chuckles softly. You lean back and allow yourself to drift, just as he does. Laughter can indeed be found in the most isolated places. In that cold cell, there lies warmth in humor. A rich tapestry woven with daily anecdotes that remind us everyone journeys to success in different ways. The world outside may continue its hustle and bustle, but Yusuf knows he's on a path too. Patience, after all, isn't just a virtue. It's the companion of dreams. So, as you settle into your own cozy cocoon, reflect on the delays you've encountered in life. Whether big or small, each pause offers profound lessons just waiting to be unraveled for you, like scrubbed secrets hidden in the sands. You never know. You might just uncover your own journey toward success. Sleep well, dear listener, and let those dreams bring you closer to your own destiny, just like Prophet Yusuf, patiently waiting for the curtain to lift on his story. Stay tuned as we continue to traverse through Yusuf's incredible saga, where unexpected twists lead to uncharted territories of triumph and fortitude. You won't want to miss the next chapter on what comes next in this adventurous tale. Chapter 10: The Shadow and the Soul. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Are you cozying up and preparing for a story that's more emotional than a puppy trying to catch its tail? Great. Tonight, we delve deep into the story of Prophet Yusuf, a saga set in ancient Egypt, circa 1700-1600 BCE, an era where fashion was ruled by oversized headdresses, and where Netflix and chill meant watch the sun set while contemplating existentialism. So, make sure your snacks are nearby, your lights are dimmed, and your bed is extra inviting, because we're about to slip into a world filled with shadows and dreams. Ever paused to contemplate how life seems to move slower than molasses on a winter day? Or how that one roommate's cooking skills can make a kitchen smell like a chemistry experiment gone awry? Imagine being in a situation where the waiting game feels longer than those awkward elevator rides. Tonight's adventure will tickle your funny bone while soothing your heart, kind of like a hug from a wise old turtle. So, here you are. Congratulations,
You've just woken up in a stone prison cell, toasty and sealed like an overcooked turkey, surrounded by towering walls that seem more stoic than your last date. Let's take a moment to meet our hero, Yusuf. As you blink away the confusion, you notice him in a peaceful kneel, deep in prayer, perhaps seeking answers that elude the everyday slog of life. In this chilling enclosure, the only sound you hear is the whisper of wind sneaking through the cracks in the walls, like an intruder who's forgotten their key. The dim light dances off the rough surfaces, while a shadow slowly sweeps across the floor, as if meticulously plotting the next move in a game only it understands. Yusuf's heart is calm, yet fervent. Imagine him, just a young man, enveloped in his thoughts while praying so intently that you almost expect him to float away. The gentle fluttering of his tattered garment resembles an age-old flag waving for a cause that is both noble and silent. Perhaps he's praying for freedom, or a home-cooked meal with gravy as thick as a good story. It's anyone's guess, really. Now, you might laugh at the absurdity of it. After all, who hasn't found themselves lost in thought during a prayer, contemplating that last slice of pizza they left in the fridge? Will it stay untouched, or will someone devour it without remorse? Yusuf seems to tap into a blend of seriousness and contemplative humor, much like you might while waiting in line for your morning coffee, wondering if the person ahead is ordering a novel or just a simple iced latte. Yusuf's brow furrows now, not from worry, but from the intensity of his hope. Success is delayed, but never denied, he whispers to himself, a rhetorical gem echoing through the stone walls. Picture yourself trying to motivate a friend who's been stuck in their routine for far too long. Hang in there. It's like waiting for your hair to dry when you forget to put the towel on. The energy surges through his cell as a flicker of optimism sparkles in the dim light. As the sun begins to set, casting a warm golden hue on the dusty stone, time feels both warped and trivial. With every passing moment, Yusuf's faith reflects the resilience of a rubber band, stretched yet unbroken. You can almost laugh beneath your breath as you imagine the guards outside arguing over the most essential question of the day. Does pineapple really belong on pizza? It seems that even in a place of confinement, life manages to balance absurdity and seriousness like a juggler with a dozen balls in the air. Every time the shadow moves, a tiny, playful harbinger of change, Yusuf smiles. It's as if he were catching the universe's subtle hints of humor, concealing wisdom amid his momentary confinement. Might this be Allah's gentle projection of patience and endurance? There's comedy in this age-old tale, reminding us that we're all waiting for our lights to turn on, right? Dear guards, if you can govern your laughter, then perhaps I too can figure my way out of this labyrinth, Yusuf thinks, peeking through the bars with a twinkle in his eye. His imagination is a wild stallion galloping beyond those walls, envisioning a bakery where the aroma of freshly baked bread could tempt even the toughest prison warden. And as your eyelids begin to sigh with the weight of sleep, remember that Yusuf is not just jotting down prayer requests. He's planting seeds of hope, watering them with faith, and preparing for growth, even if confined. Much like you, dear listener, weaving new dreams each night, pondering the possibilities tomorrow may hold. So, let this soothing lull of Yusuf's prayers resonate within you. Reflect on your own moments of waiting, where success felt delayed but not denied, like that 2-week delivery promise that somehow escaped the grasp of reality. Embrace the twists and turns life throws your way, knowing that each pause may carry whispers of profound lessons just waiting to unfold. Sleep well, my friends, and may your heart swell with hopeful dreams, just as Yusuf's heart swelled with faith in the shadows of his confinement. The journey continues, and the evening's reflections beckon. Stay tuned for more of Prophet Yusuf's story, where waiting gives way to wondrous possibilities yet to be unveiled. Chapter 11. The Polishing of a Diamond. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Have you ever tried polishing a stone, only to realize you've created a sparkly masterpiece? Not quite, but that metaphor brings us to an awe-inspiring tale this evening. Prepare yourselves as we venture into the heart-rending journey of Prophet Yusuf, a story that sparkles brighter than a muzzled puppy meeting a butterfly in the park. Tonight, we're diving into the emotional depths of waiting, transformation, and the divine timing of success. Because, let's face it, we've all wondered why our life's GPS seems to be stuck on recalculating. So if you've ever found yourself throwing your hands up at life's delays, or maybe even contemplating whether to eat that leftover cold pizza for breakfast, this story is for you. Imagine the fragrant smell of warm bread wafting through the markets of ancient Egypt, mingling with the sound of laughter, and then echoing through shadowy prison walls, where a friend Yusuf awaits. Now, dear listeners, take a deep breath and nestle into that cozy place where comfort meets the possibilities of dreams. You've just awoken in a damp stone cell that feels a little less like a hotel suite and a lot more like yesterday's leftovers. The dimness acts like a thick blanket, swirling with the scent of forgotten hopes. If walls could talk, these would whisper the stories of past prisoners and lost dreams, layering them like an onion of sorrow, each layer more poignant than the last. In the flickering light, you find Yusuf, beautiful and serene, radiating a calmness that makes you wonder if he's just come from a 3-hour meditation retreat or if he simply exists on a higher plane. He sits quietly, like a beloved cat in a sunbeam, lost in deep prayer. It's an imagery that fills your heart, even as you ponder how long you've been sitting without moving, like that awkward moment in a yoga class when everyone else transcends, while you're stuck in warrior pose, wondering if you'll ever find Zen. Think about it for a second. Has life ever felt like being the snail in a rushing river? Everything around you is speeding ahead, and you're just trying to decide between a green juice or a chocolate muffin. Yusuf's faith, however, is like an indomitable rubber band, stretched yet unbroken. Success can take time, he seems to say, almost in a soft whisper that floats through the air like a feather. As you envision Yusuf, consider the stone he once was, a rough visage hidden within layers of experience, waiting to be polished into something extraordinary. His soul, much like that rough stone, is undergoing a refining process, understanding that the light of success often requires falling through darkness first. Imagine polishing that stone until it glints under the Egyptian sun, reflecting vividly against the golden sands. It brings a certain charm to the concept of delayed gratification, a phrase often tossed around like a salad in a health food restaurant. Now, as the hard days stretch like an unending line of laundry, Yusuf kneels, quietly reflecting amidst the rattling echoes of iron bars, silent yet palpable reminders of the weight of waiting. So much like waiting for a package to arrive, only to discover that the delivery drone took a detour to Tahiti. Ah, life's little absurdities. But here's where things get even more interesting. Yusuf's faith is like a cozy blanket of hope, wrapping itself around those sharp edges of despair. Did you ever envision a bossy guardian cat taking charge in a household, as if it were the manager of a 5-star resort? So, while Yusuf seeks divine guidance, you can almost hear his heart chuckle, mirroring your own experiences. Dear Allah, don't let this prison menu become my lifelong diet. And there lies the beauty of this story, dear friends, in these fragile moments of waiting. Each minute spent in silence is like meticulously polishing that stone. Perhaps the universe is telling Yusuf, patience, dear one. The diamond is almost ready to shine. His heart dances like a fluttering bird, catching glimpses of promises yet to come. Who knows? Maybe he'll be the one to bring golden grains of wisdom to future generations, just as we share vibrant stories of love and laughter today. Consider the guards outside, who, in their daily discussions, look more lost than your last trip to the grocery store trying to find almond milk. Is that sparkling water gluten-free? they might ponder. They're busy debating trivial matters, while outside, the world spins on, weaving a tapestry of events that can elevate a man, or rather, a diamond, from rough to brilliant, unseen until the moment of revelation. And in those deep moments of reflection, Yusuf begins to understand that hidden opportunities exist even within confinement, a message that resonates warmly, like the last swallow of chocolate cake on a lazy Sunday afternoon. His stillness whispers lessons, each prayer crafted like the most precious jewelry, buffed and polished by the hands of time. As your eyelids grow heavy with sleep, let Yusuf ignite the embers of faith in your heart, reminding you that sometimes waiting is not just a pause, but a powerful refining process. Just as a stone transforms into a luminous diamond through immense pressure, so too can our lives unfold in remarkable ways when wrapped in the arms of faith. Embrace the journey, dearest listeners, and may the precious gems of your dreams soon sparkle under the light of success. So, tuck yourself in tight, cozy blanket and all, and dream brightly of the diamonds waiting to be fashioned from your life experiences. Until next time, dear friends, sweet dreams, and remember, like our beloved Yusuf, each challenge is but a step towards the magnificent brilliance that lies within you. Chapter 12. Yusuf's Prison Cafe. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Have you ever found yourself sitting in a waiting room, glancing at the clock as if hoping it'll magically start dancing in place? Today, we dive into a story that embodies that very sentiment, but with a twist sharper than your auntie's cooking knife, fresh from last week's family barbecue. Tonight, we'll unravel the gripping tale of Prophet Yusuf, who, amidst swirling clouds of uncertainty, turns the dreariest of detention cells into a unique gathering of minds. In ancient Egypt, where the sun shines warmly, and usually a little too close for comfort, we find Yusuf sitting on the imprisonment floor, turning conversations about God into a kind of divine therapy session. Before we wade deeper into this captivating pool of history, let's play a little game. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have a fashionable robe made from a mix of colorful fabrics while wearing it like a royal emblem during a casual dinner? Or picture this. You're trapped in a room full of hungry men, no food in sight. Would you bravely start telling dad jokes, or might you throw the nearest potato at the guy trying to steal your bread? Now, return to the breath of ancient Egypt, where you've just opened your eyes in a dimly lit cell filled with the echoes of hopes deferred. You feel the chill of cool stone beneath you, and the distant sounds of rattling chains like a rusted lullaby. Congratulations! You've somehow woken up circa 1600 BCE, where success is delayed more than your last online order. In this cramped nook of existence, delicious aromas from the outside tempt you, mingling with the smell of dusty old stone. Truly an olfactory crash course in ancient prison life. Yusuf, radiant even in confinement, sits like an anchor in a storm, absorbing the drabness around him and infusing it with a touch of divine grace. Around him, a motley crew of men dressed in tattered clothes listen with bated breath. Why? Because this isn't just any prison. This is like a cafe where the special of the day is a steaming dose of wisdom straight from a prophet's mouth. Yusuf gestures toward the heavens, a gentle smile lighting up his face. A face that had once been handsome enough to earn him a cocktail of envy and admiration. "Breathe deeply, my dear friends," he exclaims, waving an arm as if directing an imaginary orchestra of thoughts. "You must know, there is but one God." As he speaks, it's almost as if the room transforms, the thick walls evaporating, and golden rays of sunlight peek through. The men lean closer, captivated, hanging on to his every word as if he were revealing the secrets of the universe. Who knew prison could double as a motivational seminar? Yusuf's storytelling flows lighter than cloud fluff, delicately weaving tales of faith, resilience, and the mysterious plans of Allah. Every audience member is now leaning in as if anticipating the punchline of an epic dad joke. It's in moments like these that uncertainty dissolves. Can you imagine being sold into slavery and then landing in a prison? Talk about a plot twist. Yusuf chuckles softly, trying to lighten the heavy air, while the men around him chuckle too. After all, a sense of humor enhances even the worst situations. Amidst these heavy thoughts, Yusuf seems to embody the spirit of delayed success. With every story, he invites the men to see that even in a prison cell, there is purpose. Just like how you might still find joy in a room full of taxes, paperwork, and cobwebs. The lesson is this: sometimes you just need to endure the wait to see how the story unfolds itself. Like waiting for that batch of cookies to bake, it is tempting to stare longingly at the oven. But oh, the aroma of baked dreams when they finally come out. He goes on, his voice threading through the drabness like a ribbon of hope. You think this prison is my end? Nay, in this place, my
Heart grows, and I learn patience. So shall you. There's a flutter of excitement, a spark igniting in these men's eyes, and you can almost hear hearts adjusting their perceptions like a radio tuning into the right frequency. So while they ponder their misfortunes, Yusuf reveals dreams that he senses, dreams that tie in together like a family reunion story time. The men start to test their own interpretations, sharing wild ideas more colorful than a child's crayon drawing. Well, my dream was about a donkey winning the Nile River Regatta, one cheekily jokes. Laughter erupts, bouncing off the dark stone walls. Dare I say, it's better than those prison fruit salad cups they get. Through the laughter, Yusuf guides them to understand that dreams hold messages, and that hidden beneath their worries are treasures waiting to be discovered. Did I not tell you, my friends? God speaks in many tongues, even in the bizarre babbling of your subconscious. Who knew prisons could function as places of enlightenment? With every chuckle, another layer of despair is washed away, and these men begin not only to see Yusuf, the prisoner, but also the shining hope he represents. All the while, you settle into this vivid scene, cozy under your blanket, perhaps wondering when your own success will arrive like a long-awaited pizza delivery. As Yusuf continues, it feels curiously timeless, a gentle reminder that every road filled with detours still leads somewhere magnificent if you choose to look deeper. And as the night stretches, you too find comfort in the idea that sometimes, while waiting for success, sharing laughter and love brings forth the richest treasures in life. So, if you find yourself weighed down by the trials of today, think of Yusuf during those dim hours in the prison cell. And remember, there may still be laughter, love, and a touch of divine purpose waiting just around the corner. Sleep tight, dear friends, and allow Yusuf's timeless message to guide your dreams toward the brilliance that resides within, waiting to shine. Until we meet again, may your rest be as peaceful as Yusuf's heart in the midst of chaos. Chapter 13. The Light in the Shadow. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Have you ever felt like your plans are waiting longer than that one relative who always promises to return your borrowed lawnmower? Well, tonight, we delve into the story that highlights this very feeling, albeit without the rusty tools and awkward family reunions. We'll drift into an era where men wore robes that made them look regal, yet faced life with the grace of a cat trying to jump onto a ledge. It can go well, or let's just say it may end in a tumble. Get cozy as we unravel the tale of Prophet Yusuf, who found himself swimming through a sea of trials amid the majestic yet tumultuous court of Egypt during the era of Hyksos kings. So, grab your favorite blanket, or an ancient scroll if available, and let's venture into a story where hope flickers like a lantern in a darkened room. Now, let's set the scene. Picture this. The coolness in the air hints at evening's arrival, and the faint flickering of a modest lamp on a rickety wooden stool leaps to life as it struggles to illuminate a room filled with shadows and whispered secrets. In a time long past, around 1600 BCE to be precise, you find yourself in a gritty Egyptian prison cell. The walls are rough, and the air is thick with the fragrance of, well, let's just say,
It's not your favorite Arabian spice mix. Congratulations! You've just been transported to a time when bandits raided your town, and taxes were collected with the finesse of a bull charging through a china shop. As you take in your surroundings, you hear the faint murmurs of prisoner conversations, discussing everything from dreams that appear more absurd than your last social media nightmare to the meaning of life and, oh, the irony, success. Your attention drifts toward the glowing lamp near Yusuf, casting a warm light that dances across the faces of fellow inmates. Each face tells a story layered with sadness, hope, and just a hint of, how on earth did I end up here? It strikes you. This lamp isn't just a source of light. It's an emblem of guidance, illuminating not only the room, but igniting a spark of hope in these weary souls. How poetic it is, right? Like a cozy fairy tale, but without the dragons or overly dramatic twists. Well, except for Yusuf's life, which was practically a plot twist factory. Amid the gloom of confinement, Yusuf sits with an air of tranquility, as if he were sipping mint tea instead of grappling with chains that denote a long stretch of imprisonment. His presence radiates warmth and hope as he shares parables with his fellow friends in misery, who hang on to his words as if they were life rafts tossed their way in a vast ocean of despair. "Brothers," he calls out, his voice echoing off the stone walls. "Imagine this. What if all the trials you face today are like the clouds on a rainy day, heavy and dreary, but essential for the flowers that will bloom tomorrow? Until then, let's chat about dreams again, because trust me, some of you have dreams that need serious interpretations, and I'm just the guy for the job." The prisoners chuckle, their spirits slightly lifted as they lean in. The jovial tone of Yusuf's voice creates an atmosphere, transforming the grim cell into a space filled with laughter and anecdotes that are surprisingly relatable. Who knew sharing dreams in prison would resemble a modern-day therapy session? This lamp, a dainty artifact in an ancient world, serves as a tiny beacon amid swirling uncertainty. Taking a cue from movie directors long before their time, Yusuf begins to recount his own dreams, which have all the makings of a blockbuster: royalty, grain, and, believe it or not, livestock. Have you ever woken up from a dream thinking, "What on earth just happened? Did I accidentally eat too much of that leftover lentil stew again?" He jokes, causing stifled laughter to spark in the corners. As the laughter subsides, he gently reminds them that sometimes the prison bars that confine our bodies only serve to set our spirits free. It's a cheeky realization. Imprisonment is not just about where you are, it's about how you perceive the situation. Think of it like being stuck at home during a rainy day and deciding to binge watch all those documentaries you promised yourself to do. There's always room for growth, even amid the mundane. The laughter fills the cell as Yusuf shares stories that resonate with everyone present. He talks about moments of delayed success, about how sometimes Allah puts us in situations that appear dire, but ultimately shield us from greater harm or lead us on a path to something magnificent. Like the time when you found your long-lost pizza coupon, just when you thought you had to eat boring leftovers. Through all these exchanges, the glowing lamp stands resolute, casting a warmth that envelops the prisoners like a hug from an old friend. Yusuf's wisdom flows like honey, sweetening even the bitter pangs of their current reality. There's something profoundly soothing about watching hope illuminate the darkest corners of despair. And as the continued tales draw to a close, one thing has become abundantly clear. Life may delay your success like an aloof friend always running late, but it serves a greater purpose. Just like the flickering lamp in that grim prison, the light of faith shines brightest in the darkest hours, guiding you, gently nudging you toward that vibrant future. So as you drift off into dreams of ancient lands filled with wisdom and hope, remember that sometimes you have to endure a little darkness to appreciate the stunning beauty of the dawn that follows. Sleep well, dear friends, and allow the light of prophetic tales to guide you gently into the realm of dreams. Until we meet again, may your nights be illuminated with peace and your dreams filled with the promises of a brighter tomorrow. Chapter 14. The Gloomy Prison and Dreams of Freedom. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Have you ever felt like success is taking longer to arrive than that pizza you ordered 2 hours ago? Do you sometimes wonder if you accidentally used your life's GPS settings to navigate through a particularly detour-heavy route? Well, tonight, we're about to dive deep into the saga of Prophet Yusuf, a man whose journey felt like an epic saga of ancient delays, complete with dramatic plot twists that even the finest soap operas would envy. So, make yourself comfortable, dim the lights, maybe grab a warm blanket or the nearest snack, though we won't judge if it's just last night's leftovers. And while you settle in, let's ponder over a few thought-provoking, slightly absurd questions of the time. Ever thought about how difficult it must be to maintain fashion sense while living in a dusty Egyptian prison? Or how anyone could possibly keep track of their dreams amidst the daily chaos of prison life? And speaking of dreams, isn't it mind-boggling that someone could misinterpret a dream of stars as a prophetic message, rather than just a late-night snack-induced hallucination? Congratulations! You've just woken up in circa 1700 to 1600 BCE, an era where the sun was hotter than a freshly baked loaf of bread, and the only thing more confusing than fashion choices was the judicial system of ancient Egypt. Picture the iconic stone walls of a gritty prison, and a stale scent wafting through the bars like a bad cologne your uncle insists is classy. As you gather your bearings amidst the flickering lights, you come to meet two young men clad in prison garb, their faces shadowed by the weight of concern and exhaustion. And then there's Yusuf, calm and poised, sitting like a sage on a mountaintop. He greets these men with a kind and trustworthy smile that could make a child feel safe and a cat feel like a lion. The contrast in the room is palpable. They're troubled expressions, adorned with lines of despair, juxtaposed against Yusuf's radiant demeanor, echoing an unyielding hope. In this stony abode where nobody checks in on your well-being, think of it as a spa day gone terribly wrong. Yusuf proves that positivity can thrive in even the most inhospitable of environments. "Welcome, brothers," he exclaims, excitement sparkling in his eyes, reminiscent of someone who just opened a surprise gift. "What brings you here in these grim surroundings? Did you forget the way to brunch? Or perhaps you mistook this dungeon for a trendy cafe?" The two young men exchange reluctant smiles, despite their dire circumstances. Ah, the magic of humor. The ever-elusive balm for wounds that life hands you unexpectedly. "We had some dreams," one confesses hesitantly, as if admitting to eating the last slice of cake at a family gathering. "And, well, they didn't exactly turn out as we hoped." Yusuf leans in, a conspiratorial look on his face, as if about to share classified information about the prison diet. "Dreams, you say? Fear not, for in this place of shadows, I find that dreams can become quite the adventure. Tell me yours. You'd be surprised how many of my most astute observations came while dodging barbs about fashion choices during a particular royal banquet." As they share their bizarre visions, one involving bakeries bursting with bread and the other an army of goats leading a peaceful march, something shifts in the atmosphere. Laughter, one of the rarest sounds in darkened dungeons, spills forth, transforming the heavy air into something lighter, almost buoyant. Moments later, they're caught in fits of chuckles, and in those moments, it seems the prison walls themselves are easing their grip, almost like a giant heart opening up. "Imagine if your dreams turned out this way," Yusuf muses, a twinkle in his eye. "You'd never get your morning coffee in peace if all you wanted was pastry." He adds with a grin, "And believe me, if I were to lead a goat army, I'd surely offer them an all-you-can-eat buffet as thanks, because who can resist a good snack?" While the two young men share their dreams, Yusuf begins discarding their worries like old clothing. transforming their heavy burdens into feathers that dance through the air. You see, just like the stars in your dreams, your circumstances may seem endless and dark, Yusuf explains, his voice soothing yet vibrant. But just as the most radiant stars pierce the darkest skies, your struggles can illuminate a path to an unexpected victory. With every word, Yusuf beckons forth not just laughter, but a flickering flame of hope within these weary souls. Remember, my friends, he continues, the chaos around you may often blur your vision, but what truly matters is how you harness the storms. Just like a cat, you might miss the ledge at times, but you get back up, ready to pounce forward. As this heartfelt exchange unfolds, the flickering lamp nearby seems to glow just a bit brighter, casting playful shadows across the wall. It's a simple yet profound reminder that a little warmth, a bit of kindness, can ignite unparalleled change, even amid a dark prison. So, while you close your eyes and drift into gentle slumber tonight, remember the laughter and light concocted in the darkest places. In this dance of dreams and realities, your journey to success, however delayed, carries a weight of purpose and destiny. Sometimes you just have to roll with the unexpected, much like a cat embarking on a high-stakes adventure atop your coffee table. Sleep comfortably, dear friends, knowing that the spring of hope can burst forth even in the most unlikely of places. And may your dreams tonight shine just like the stars that danced in Yusuf's visions, illuminating your path to tomorrow. Until next time, may Allah's light guide you through every night, and may your dreams fill your heart with solace and wisdom. Chapter 15. Yusuf's Finger Toward the Heavens. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Have you ever tried pointing your finger toward the heavens while simultaneously trying to balance a cup of tea and avoiding a particularly aggressive mosquito? Well, tonight we find ourselves in an even trickier situation, one that dates back to the era when pharaohs were more than just characters in movies, and people considered dreams as serious business. Now, isn't it amusing to think about how long it took for people back then to figure out what a dream really meant? Did they ever have to consult someone after a nightmare, asking, "Hey, what does it mean if I dreamt of a cow trying to eat my shoes?" Truly serious issues of ancient times, I say. Just imagine the heated debates over breakfast about dream interpretations. It must have resembled your family's Sunday brunch discussions, but with a lot more gesturing and a lot less coffee. But fret not, for tonight you'll step into the shoes of Prophet Yusuf, a man whose life was anything but ordinary. Picture yourself in ancient Egypt, surrounded by dusty stone walls marked with symbols that could have belonged to a questionable party theme or an ancient Snapchat. Ah yes, welcome to the second intermediate period of ancient Egypt, the kind of time where half the people were just trying to figure out how to fix the plumbing, and the other half were busy ruling with questionable fashion choices. As the scene unfolds, you find yourself in the company of Yusuf, who is somewhat of a celebrity in this ancient setting. Dressed in a robe as vibrant as a sunset, he raises his finger toward the heavens, a gesture charged with meaning and a dash of theatrical flair. It's like he knows that the universe is both his stage and his audience, and he is about to deliver what could be labeled as the ancient equivalent of a TED Talk. "Friends," he begins, his voice ringing through the gloomy prison walls like a melodious call to prayer, although it sounds more like a motivational speaker trying to rouse a sleepy crowd. "Do you see those ancient symbols?" He gestures toward the wall, lined with carvings of figures resembling gods, each more baffling than a modern-day fashion magazine. "Those represent illusions, distractions, and desires. They are but fleeting shadows compared to the divine unity above." As you look around, you notice the expressions of Yusuf's companions, a mix of confusion and awe, like people trying to solve a math equation that suddenly turned into a riddle. Would they really connect with divine unity while standing amidst ancient graffiti? But Yusuf remains undeterred. as if he's channeling something greater than himself, something that makes him speak with authority. Many seek the approval of these deities. He continues, his hand still pointed at the heavenly expanse. But let me tell you, brothers, the true path is not cluttered by these stone images, says, rolling his eyes dramatically. It seems they could use a good cleaning, or perhaps a makeover. The companions chuckle, their laughter a ripple of light breaking through the gloom. It must be a relief, you think, to find humor even in such dire surroundings. Yusuf waves his finger as if it were an eraser, wishing away the walls of despair. So tell me, what troubles your hearts? Are you caught in a web of doubts and worldly burdens? His companions share their worries, and just like that, you are enveloped in an atmosphere of camaraderie and kinship, a feeling akin to savoring warm kebabs on a chilly evening. One young man, with tired eyes that seem to carry the weight of 1,000 worries, speaks up. I dreamt, just last night, that I was back home, dancing like nobody was watching. But alas, I woke up to find myself here. Ah, Yusuf responds, a bright smile illuminating his face. A dream of freedom dancing amidst walls. Just as the stars pierce the darkest of skies, your dreams whisper of what is to come. And remember, sometimes success feels further away than that last piece of baklava at a family gathering, doesn't it? His companions nod along, their laughter harmonizing with the flickering lantern light. But let me express a simple truth. Yusuf raises his finger again, this time adding a dramatic pause. Allah often delays success not as punishment, but as preparation. Like the finest craftsman who takes their time molding clay into something beautiful, your struggles are shaping you into who you are meant to be. The young man brightens up, realizing that perhaps his journey through the valley of delay isn't as much about the walls surrounding him as it is about the growth he's experiencing. He chuckles. I suppose life really is like navigating through a maze of misinterpreted dreams. Yusuf laughs along, his body language radiating warmth like a sunbeam breaking through morning mist. Yes, my friend. So, if anything, let's take a moment to appreciate the divine humor in all of this. Whether we're imprisoned by stone or by our own fears, we can still look toward the sky. The universe has this delightful way of conspiring for our success, even when we're busy attempting to negotiate with our dreams. With that, you can almost feel the weight lift from the room, each chuckle resonating with a rhythm of hope and healing. Every word from Prophet Yusuf threads a delicate tapestry of camaraderie and resilience, reminding you that, however long the wait for success, it's not just about reaching the destination, it's about the journey, laughter, and little cosmic nudges from the universe. As Yusuf's anecdotes weave a spell of inner strength and lightness, you realize that falling asleep amidst the warmth of such potent unity and humor is the perfect end to today's adventures, blending guidance with a sprinkle of ancient absurdity. May your dreams tonight mirror the beauty of stars piercing through the night sky, illuminating your path. Remember that success, like perfectly baked bread, often comes after a long wait. Sleep well, dear friends, and awaken recharged with the spirit of Yusuf, pointing toward the heavens with laughter and hope. Until next time, may Allah's mercy embrace you and guide you through every twist and turn of your own unique journey. Chapter 16. The Golden Cup and the Dark Shadow. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Have you ever waited for the perfect moment to indulge in a slice of cake, only to have someone swoop in and steal it right from under your nose? Well, tonight, we dive deep into the life of Prophet Yusuf, a man whose experience with success and delays could make anyone want to throw a pillow across the room in frustration, or just eat a whole cake instead. Now, as we settle into the evening, close your eyes and imagine yourself in the grand halls of ancient Egypt, circa 1700 to 1600 BCE. The air is as thick as a well-cooked stew, and the scent of spices dances around you like a playful child. You're surrounded by monumental stone structures, many taller than the tallest buildings you've ever seen, though perhaps not as fashionable. Those ancient Egyptians clearly had strong opinions on what constituted a good fashion choice. Tonight, our story unfolds like a labyrinthine camel caravan, full of twists, turns, and unexpected detours. You're about to witness a dramatic moment, a split image of two men, one serving a golden cup to a king, the other standing lost beneath a dark shadow. And guess who's right there in the middle, like a master conductor at a symphony that seems to be playing just a little off-key? That's right, it's our dear friend Yusuf, who's about to educate everyone on the art of patience in the grand, often bewildering game of life. Imagine, if you will, the echoes of laughter and chatter buzzing through the thick walls of the palace, a sound that could easily confuse you into thinking the ancient Egyptians were hosting a major banquet, which, in truth, they might well have been. But here's the kicker. Neither man is aware of the hidden destinies swirling around them like those rogue wind gusts you might feel on an otherwise sunny day. As Yusuf stands there, his robe shimmering brighter than a disco ball at a wedding, he addresses both men with the seriousness of a teacher at a particularly rambunctious school. Do you see this cup? He gestures to the golden chalice gleaming under the flickering light of oil lamps. Delightful, isn't it? It's not unlike that cup of tea you wish was constantly filled at your local cafe, but somehow always seems to dwindle to the dregs. The man serving the cup chuckles, and you can feel the tension in the air begin to soften like warm butter on stale bread. The man in the shadow looks furtively at Yusuf, unsure if he should laugh or hide under a rock. What do you mean, Yusuf? Why is his success so immediate while I stand in darkness? Patience, Yusuf replies, offering an enigmatic smile with just the right touch of warmth, as if he's just decided he could use a touch of humor to lighten this heavy moment. Success is not measured by the sparkle of a cup, my friend, but by the journey one takes to reach it. Sometimes, Allah delays our success simply to prepare us for greatness.
Yusuf's voice rolls through the air like ripples in a pond, a soothing sound that calms the restless spirits around him. Picture this, he continues. We don't pluck figs from a tree the moment we plant the seeds. No, we wait, we nurture, we care for the roots. Perhaps it's analogous to waiting for the last piece of baklava at a gathering. It always seems to appear for everyone else before you. Both men start laughing, the king nervously glancing around as though success could tiptoe away at any moment. The golden cup suddenly appears less like a trophy and more like a prop in a comedic skit. Imagine if I handed this cup to you, Yusuf says, pointing dramatically to the man trembling in the dark. You would spill it in fear of the throne, or curse me for offering it too soon. All the while, the universe is brewing a magic potion in the background. Your success, my friend, is simmering on the stove, waiting for the right moment to serve. The shadowed man's eyes brighten. So you mean to say my time will come? This is not just a shadow, but simply the hallway to the main banquet? Yes. Just like waiting for a pot to boil, we often forget the process. The stars might be hidden behind clouds, but we must trust that they're still shining, Yusuf reassures him. As both men begin to see the depth of what Yusuf is saying, it dawns on you that these ancient tales continue to weave themselves into the very fabric of our modern lives. Who hasn't felt a twinge of envy when a colleague gets that promotion, or a friend gets married while you're still attempting to find a matching pair of socks? Do you know what I've learned? Yusuf continues, catching a glimmer of mischief in his eye. It is this. Allah delays success, not as punishment, but as preparation. The universe has its comic timing, and perhaps life is just one big cosmic joke waiting for the right punchline. The men burst into laughter. Again, and you find yourself chuckling too as Yusuf continues. So, let's embrace these delays. Let's cherish the moments we're learning, growing, and preparing. If we can acknowledge the dark moments, the laughter will make the light feel even brighter when we finally step into our own.
With each word, it becomes easier to feel wrapped in a blanket of calmness, surrounded by warm empathy. The golden cup, the dark shadow. These are mere metaphors dancing around in life's grand theater. As the scene swells with life, it's apparent that Yusuf is not only offering insight, but reminding us all of the beauty in waiting, the humor in delay, and the absolute certainty that each one of us has a place at the grand banquet of success. Sleep now, dear friends, letting your dreams be filled with the promise that your successes await, not in the rush of the moment, but in the richness of the journey. Remember, like a well-aged wine or the perfectly baked loaf of bread, sometimes the best things in life take time. May Allah bless your nights with peaceful slumber, rich with patience and joy, and guide you toward your own shimmering golden cups in the morning light. Until next time, let those dreams flow. Chapter 17. The Illuminated Messenger. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Have you ever thought about how achieving success often feels like waiting for your Wi-Fi to reconnect, just when you're about to stream your favorite show? The wheel spins, the connection flickers, and just as you start to lose hope, voila, you're back online, ready to binge-watch your heart out. Tonight, prepare yourself for a tale even more intriguing than the latest season finale, with twists, turns, and enough patience tests to make a goat herder wince. Imagine yourself there, basking in the glorious surroundings of ancient Egypt, circa 1700 to 1600 BCE. The sun hangs low in the sky, casting a glimmering golden hue over the massive stone structures, their pillars reaching up like desperately waving arms trying to catch a runaway cloud. You can almost hear the whispers of history floating on the warm breeze, mingling with the scents of nutmeg and thyme wafting through the market stalls. Picture shopkeepers like enthusiastic vendors at a quirky flea market shouting, "Get your spices here, freshly ground." Tonight we step into the story of Prophet Yusuf, a man possessing the uncanny ability to interpret dreams, an ancient version of a life coach, if you will. But just as you might find yourself contemplating life choices while waiting for your morning coffee, Yusuf also faced moments of uncertainty during his journey. Just like when you're stuck behind someone who orders something exciting at the cafe, Yusuf's situation becomes a tangled web of delays and blessings. Now, let's settle into a scene as vibrant as an ancient tapestry. You are nestled in the dim light of a dank prison cell, alongside two other men who, frankly, could use a good dose of Yusuf's sunny disposition. You can almost see the petrichor that fills the air after a light rain, sweetening the scent of the dusty stone walls. And there stands Yusuf, the embodiment of hope, his face glowing with an aura that makes you think he's had one too many doses of divine caffeine. Before you know it, Yusuf begins speaking, his tone calm yet unwavering, as smooth as your favorite slice of cheesecake. "My dear friends," he says, standing taller than the tallest pyramid, "do not despair." You can feel an undercurrent of seriousness beneath his encouraging words, despite the jovial atmosphere around you. "One of you will be freed and returned to his former status, while the other—" He pauses dramatically. "Well, your fate will not be quite so glorious." You can almost hear the collective "ooh" from the other prisoners, like a live audience at a reality show reveal. Yet Yusuf remains unfazed, his confidence shining through like the sun god Ra himself, illuminating their grim situation. "Remember," he continues, "Allah delays success for wisdom far beyond our comprehension." Ever been in a situation akin to this? Perhaps you found yourself giving a pep talk to a friend while your own life resembles a chaotic circus. It's like trying to juggle flaming torches while simultaneously encouraging someone else to learn how to ride a unicycle. It can be a bit much. But Yusuf, bless his heart, doesn't shy away from the challenge. Instead, he offers clarity during the stormiest weather. "Imagine," he muses, his voice soothing yet captivating, "if life were a perfectly orchestrated piece of music, if every note played on cue, it would become predictable and, dare I say, dreadfully boring. But what happens during those rests? That's the build-up to something spectacular. You nod, drifting further into the comforts of the narrative. Just like in any epic story replete with twists, it's during those moments of waiting, be it in a queue for water or during a stagnant phase in life, that the greatest transformations take place. While waiting, we develop resilience, patience, and an unshakable faith in Allah. It's like the time you
Ordered takeout on a stormy night, and it took forever to arrive. How much did you cherish that first bite when it finally came? The shadow fell deeper across the prisoners as Yusuf pressed on, his expression unwavering.
Trust me, my friends. This delay is just Allah's way of perfectly timing your arrival at greatness. His words resonate, and you can see glimmers of hope flickering in the eyes of those around you, almost like fireflies dancing in the night. Yusuf continues, "You see, success doesn't mean instant gratification. It's all about that glorious journey, like waiting for dough to rise before baking. You wouldn't want to slice into that dense, flat loaf, would you?" A nervous chuckle escapes your lips, and you can feel the atmosphere in the room lighten just a notch. The despair slowly transforms into a fragile yet blossoming hope, akin to flowers blooming through cracks in the pavement. As he looks from one man to the other, his heart seems to
Reach out to them. The universe unfolds in ways we cannot understand. The golden cup of success isn't just handed to anyone. It requires preparation.
Yusuf's confidence brings warmth, making him a beacon of optimism amidst the somber surroundings. The man in the shadow speaks up, sinking further into his dark thoughts. But why should I wait? Why him and not me? His voice trembles, a blend of jealousy and fear, echoing painfully against the coolness of the stone walls. "Ah," Yusuf smiles kindly. "Patience is an investment, one that compounds over time." His words swaddle the air around you like the comforting embrace of a favorite blanket on a winter night. Success is sweeter when we learn, grow, and savor each moment, much like how we cherish the taste of a perfectly brewed cup of tea compared to hastily consumed instant coffee. In the flickering light, you can feel a wave of calm wash over you. Yusuf's influence spreads like ripples on the surface
Of a pond, soothing the worries of the prisoners. Someone once said, he continued, that great achievements are often birthed through trials. It's all just part of Allah's intricate plan. The prisoners glance at one another, their expressions softening as they begin to understand what Yusuf means. That perhaps, just perhaps, their current situation wasn't the end of the road. As the shadows in the room play tricks with your imagination, you realize that just like life, the toughest struggles often lead to the most beautiful destinations. As Yusuf ends his discourse, a serene sense of wholeness envelops the space. In that moment, you know, if only for a fleeting instant, that everyone will find their golden cups when the time is right. Allah's wisdom is all-encompassing, nourishing patience like a warm meal on a cold night. Sleep now, dear friends, and may your dreams be filled with revelations of strength and perseverance. Embrace the waiting, knowing that your Own golden cup is brewing. Just like the perfect cup of coffee, its time will surely come, offering warmth, clarity, and a touch of sweetness upon arrival. Until we meet again, may your nights be graced with patience and joy. Chapter 18. A Glimpse Behind Bars. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Have you ever wondered why success sometimes feels like waiting for your favorite snack delivery, only to find out they sent you the wrong order? It's tantalizingly close, yet somehow just out of reach. Tonight, we will unravel a narrative more captivating than your neighbor's epic lawn debate, a tale of patience and persistence that echoes through time, featuring our star player, Prophet Yusuf. Before we transport ourselves to the heart of ancient Egypt,
Imagine a bustling marketplace where shopkeepers haggle over prices louder than a sports commentator in a playoff game. Wares spill over the tables, enticing you with the aroma of spices that tickle your nose and remind you that dinner isn't quite ready yet, despite the parade of street food. Can you smell it? That intriguing blend of cumin and cardamom whisking you into the past. So, dim those lights, grab your favorite pillow, and settle deep into your cozy corner. You might wonder, did people in the era of the Hyksos kings have IKEA furniture? Or were they stuck with the same lumpy cushions for decades? Did ancient Egyptians binge-watch dramas about their pharaohs? Or was it more of a live theater kind of environment? And here's the kicker. Was there a career path labeled professional dream interpreter? Or did they have to work that in as a side hustle? Now that we are comfortably nestled in the past, consider this. Congratulations. You have just woken up in 1700 to 1600 BCE, and everything is about to get interesting. Imagine the heavy, clanking doors of an Egyptian prison creaking like an old wooden ship. You're standing in a dim light as two guards push a man toward the iron gates. He looks more nervous than a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. The air carries a thick scent, a mix of damp stone and regret. Your heart beats faster as you realize he is no ordinary man. He's in the presence of Yusuf, the dream interpreter known for discussing visions, even while in the most unlikely places. With a firm grip, Yusuf clasps the shoulder of the departing prisoner. "Remember my name when you arrive back in the palace," he implores, an anchor of dignity amidst looming despair. You can feel the weight of his words like heavy bookends on a forgotten shelf. It's like witnessing someone rallying the troops just before the big game. Now let's pause for a beat. Ever tried to explain the gravity of your feelings over a piece of burnt toast? That's how Yusuf seems. Serious, yet somehow uplifting in this dark space. "When you see the king," he continues, his voice smooth like freshly churned butter, "tell him I was wrongfully imprisoned." It's poetic, really. A metaphor for all of us, waiting for recognition while buried under a pile of laundry, or, in Yusuf's case, layers of injustice. Yet behind those bars, despite the dismal surroundings, Yusuf exudes an air of patience. "You see," he says, "every delay has its purpose. Allah's timing is, quite frankly, better than mine on a Monday morning." There's a gentle chuckle amidst the soliloquy, sparking a lightness that cuts through the heaviness of the cell. It's like when you're waiting for that much-anticipated email while trying to convince yourself that the notifications on your phone have it covered. "Success," Yusuf goes on, "is not simply handed out like candy on a holiday. Oh no, it's a curated experience, much like a multi-course meal. You can't rush for dessert when the appetizer is still sizzling." Now, this moment isn't merely an echo in history. It's a lesson wrapped in layers of intricate meaning. You drift into thoughts about your own life, reflecting on the times when, much like Yusuf, you felt stuck behind metaphorical bars, waiting for the universe to align just right. You might even picture it, a cozy scene of yourself, sitting with a group of friends, discussing over a cup of steaming tea why there seems to be a cosmic delay in reaching your aspirations. With each word, Yusuf leans closer, his sincerity striking chords within the hearts of the prisoners. "Trust me, my friends. Each moment of waiting is just Allah preparing you for something grander than you can fathom." You can almost hear that collective in the room, as if they're mulling over the profound simplicity of his words while sipping strong coffee. In the flickering light, Yusuf's wisdom shines brighter than the sun-soaked walls of the palace outside. Think of it like planting a seed. Do you expect it to blossom overnight? Surely not. He gestures animatedly, the dim rays capturing the light in his eyes. Like a slow-cooked stew, it needs time to simmer. And, alas, there's a moment of laughter, mixed with the faint sound of water trickling somewhere nearby, underscoring the shared understanding among the prisoners. Time is unraveling. Around them,
softening the jagged edges of their worries. After all, isn't life a hilarious journey? It's the wait between letting the bread rise and the oven timer dinging, strangely exhilarating, yet utterly mundane. At this moment, Yusuf's soul seems to pierce through the gloomy shadows wrapped around their hearts. Every step you take in this delay is part of Allah's magnificent plan. Suddenly, the atmosphere feels less like a prison cell and more like a haven of hope, ripe with potential stories waiting to be told. The shadows shift, reflecting not despair, but courage and perseverance, the very essence of history. As you'll soon realize, dear friends, just like Yusuf, we too are often waiting for our gates to open. A gentle reminder: success is not a sprint, but a well-paced marathon. Sleep now, drench your dreams in these revelations, and always remember that patience is a golden virtue. Whether in life's dimly lit corners or amidst the bright promises of tomorrow, may your own golden cup of success overflow when the moment is just right. Chapter 19. The Twilight of Time and Divine Patience. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Did you ever feel like success is playing a game of hide and seek, taunting you from behind a cobwebbed corner of your life? Perhaps it's more elusive than your phone charger when you actually need it? Tonight, we delve into a tale more layered than your grandmother's baklava, and just as sweet, filled with lessons wrapped in patience, all revolving around our friend, Prophet Yusuf. Before we plunge into the warm sands of ancient Egypt, picture the sun playing peekaboo behind the clouds, lighting up the bustling market streets where hawkers shout prices louder than your morning alarm. Can you hear the haggling? That delightful chaos pulls you in as aromas dance in the air, a heady blend of spices that makes you daydream of feasts fit for a pharaoh, and, if you're lucky, maybe even dessert before dinner. So, let's cozy up in our imaginary time machine with a comfy pillow under our heads. Put on that mystical air conditioner, because tonight we're heating things up in the dust of history. Ever pondered what kind of hairstyle was considered trendy back then? Was there an ancient Egyptian equivalent of highlights? Or was every mane stuck in a uniform pyramid? And while we're at it, did people back then also end discussions by scrolling through their social media feeds to avoid awkward silences? Breathe easy, my friends. Congratulate yourself. You've just woken up circa 1700 to 1600 BCE in ancient Egypt. And let's just say, the scene outside is anything but drab. Imagine this. The grand prison walls rise high above you, casting uneasy shadows over the cobblestones like shy friends at a party, each reflecting stories of lives interrupted. Time here is a fickle friend, marked not by clocks, but by the unending rising and setting of the sun. As the days meld into one another, this is where you'll find Yusuf, older now, wisdom crinkling around his eyes like the finely aged parchment of a scroll. In this dimly lit enclave, the sun's rays sporadically pierce through gaps between the bars, illuminating the stoic figure of Yusuf. Look closer. Can you see the remnants of his youth still echoing in his devoted posture as he prays? Each prayer resonates softly, a melody against the stone walls that unmasks moments of despair within this bleak existence. He may be inside, but the spirit of his faith soars freer than a hawk circling the horizon. As dusk settles, casting the prison in deepening hues of orange and purple, you notice Yusuf engaging in daily tasks, immersed in a routine that whispers tales of resilience and hope. It's almost comically mundane, isn't it? Like when you find yourself obsessively rearranging your sock drawer during a Netflix binge, thinking, yes, this will definitely change my life. Here's Yusuf, embodying patience akin to your youngest cousin, who waits from dawn until dusk for their birthday cake. Keep the faith. He seems to echo into the shadows, gesturing towards the heavens as if in a grand debate with unseen powers.
His heart swells with understanding. Every delay, every moment spent confined, every sunset not yet transcended is a part of a grander design. It's like preparing a delicious stew. You can't just throw everything in and expect it to taste right on the first stir. No, my friends, timing is everything. The sun shows no signs of rushing, dipping lower as laughter wanes in anticipation outside the walls. The world beyond is vibrant and full of opportunities, much like your friend who always manages to snag the last slice of pizza. Inside, Yusuf uses this sort of waiting knowledge wisely, cultivating an abundance of patience that could envy even the oldest tortoise. Dear companions, he occasionally calls to the other prisoners, the universe is not on a deadline like your morning commute. His words echo softly, reminding them that every delay has its purpose, and success is not served on a silver platter. It is earned through perseverance and resilience. Let's pause and savor that for a moment. Close your eyes and picture the wisdom blossoming in this dark prison, a harvest of hope in a field of despair. In contrast, imagine your own life's hustle and bustle. Do you ever find yourself impatiently tapping on your mouse, waiting for that important email to arrive? Or scrolling endlessly, waiting for new updates? The truth is, we are more alike than we realize. We are all, in our own ways, waiting behind bars of our making, dreams delayed, hearts yearning. With each day, the sun paints Yusuf's beard a deeper shade of wisdom, a reminder that our dreams may be nestled in Allah's generous gaze, waiting patiently to unfold. Prayers spill from him like sweet honey, soothing the hearts of those around him. Patience is a virtue, my friends, he chuckles, eyes twinkling as he brushes crumbs from his robe. A moment that strangely parallels finding out your favorite online shop has restocked after weeks of absence. As the shadows lengthen, see how he offers simple truths, often draped in humor, timely reminders about trust in Allah's plan. For as the sun bids farewell to its daily journey, it grants blessings to those who wait. Trust me, he whispers to one of his fellow prisoners, a rugged soul imprisoned in doubt. The timing is divine, even if it feels more like British weather. This sparks shared laughter, a precious moment knitted together with threads of hope, reminding all that in Allah's eyes, every sunset signals not just an end, but the dawn of something greater. And thus, dear friends, in this dimly lit chamber, a flicker of hope dances in the corners, whispering the lessons of patience and trust. Just like in your life, every moment spent in waiting shapes the character. Every setback subtly builds you, like the intricacies of a diamond forged under pressure. Embrace these delays, for one day, when the gates of opportunity swing wide open, you'll realize every sunset was preparing you for your spectacular dawn. Rest now. Slip into dreams steeped in the richness of this tale. And remember, just like Yusuf, that sometimes success takes its time, and patience, dear friends, is the most precious gem of all. May your dreams be woven with wisdom, and may your heart find peace until morning light breaks. Sleep well. Chapter 20. The View from a Narrow Window. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we take a journey more unexpected than finding a forgotten snack at the back of your pantry. Picture this. You've just opened the door to a time portal and landed smack in ancient Egypt, specifically in the grand labyrinth of the Hyksos Kings era, somewhere between 1700 and 1600 BCE. And, oh dear, it's a fiery hot day. If you think your air conditioning puts in extra work during summer, just wait until you see how desperate people were for a cool breeze back then. Now, before we dive into this warm slice of history, may I gently encourage you to like, subscribe, and maybe even leave a comment, but only if you find it in your heart, or your dreams, to do so. So go on, take a deep breath, dim the lights, and settle into your favorite comfort zone. You've earned it. Now, if you could join me for a moment, let's ponder a few absurdly funny thoughts about life back in those days. What was the
Fashion trend? Did they even have combs? Or were hairstyles more chaotic than Monday morning bedhead? And let's not get started on their version of personal hygiene. Ever consider cleaning yourself with something as inventive as a mud bath? Swatting away flies was probably an Olympic sport, while everyone pretended that bathing was overrated. Hold tight. You've just woken up in 1600 BCE, and the view outside is anything but ordinary. Through the small, dust-laden window of your cell, the world unfolds like a tapestry woven with vibrant threads of life, and you catch a glimpse of all the hues: golden chariots gliding across the marketplace, merchants loudly hawking their wares, and the tantalizing aroma of spiced lentils wafting through the air. Ah, but as mesmerizing as it is, your horizon feels coiled in a heavy blanket of solitude. For within these stone walls, the vibrant expression of life seems as unreachable as your favorite pen that always vanishes when you need it most. You see, dear friends, you are inside the very heart of Pharaoh's prison. It sounds gloriously grim, doesn't it? This is where our friend Yusuf, the embodiment of grace under pressure, finds himself marooned. And what a sight he is! Clothed in shades of dusty, faded linen, with a beard that speaks of thoughts deeper than the Nile. He sits, gazing out of that narrow window into the sprawling expanse, seemingly lost in contemplation. His eyes reflect the distances of dreams, accomplishments yet to bloom, and whispers of divine knowledge. While he feels forgotten by the world, the surrounding space radiates with an ethereal glow, a silent reminder that he is never abandoned. This gentle caress of light wraps around him, almost laughing like a mischievous friend. Look here, you may have been cast aside, but look how the stars shimmer just for you. As Yusuf clasps his hands in prayer, the echo of his voice is like a familiar melody, tender yet filled with resilience, enraging the darkness, declaring, "I know my purpose, and patience is my armor." There's something comforting in this rhythm, like binging on your favorite show after a long week, or the sweet satisfaction of finally finishing that DIY project that took way too long. With each passing day, time feels like a lazy cat lounging in the afternoon sun, stretching and yawning just when you're itching for progress. Yusuf's confinement seems almost comically simultaneous with your own dust bunnies of procrastination. Remember how you've meticulously put off that chore until tomorrow? Yes, that's the essence of patience. It's almost as if Allah conspired to teach significant lessons even behind thick stone walls, much like a wise old sage with a twinkle in their eye, waiting for you to catch on. Why does success feel like it's playing hard to get? You can almost hear Yusuf ponder aloud to the universe, wrestling with the thought that perhaps his purpose requires refining, not unlike how a strong cup of coffee improves with time, or how a good piece of cheese only gets better with age. Each setback is a flavor that enriches the experience. "Do you think I'll ever get out of here?" he muses, not unlike that friend who insists they'll be late to the dinner party because they just need 10 more minutes to get all the things done. Yet within him, a light hope flickers, boldly declaring that this delay is but a part of a grander narrative in the story of his life, a narrative still waiting to unravel. As dusk descends like a gentle blanket, painting the walls with shadows that sway and dance, Yusuf's laughter chimes through the heavy air. "Life is nothing without a hint of humor, my companions," he declares to the other prisoners, while tossing a few crumbs of bread, a twist of joy amidst despair. "If I am to abide in this hold, at least let laughter be my company. It's better than wallowing in sorrow." And as he embraces this philosophy, we see flashes of wit emerge, wrapping around the wisdom like a comforting shawl against the chill of solitude. Sometimes reminding fellow prisoners that even an extended wait can polish your character, much like the finest gemstones found buried in tough earth.
If only they had a hint of social media back then, Yusuf might have had thousands of followers eager for updates on his journey. Today's post: Inside the Clinks, Poetry and Persistence. So, my dear friends, as you settle deeper into slumber, remember that delays, frustrations, and stifled aspirations are often the pathways leading us towards something magnificent. Just like Yusuf, who stands as a beacon of patience, even when confined within walls of uncertainty, may you awaken knowing that behind every delay, there is the promise of divine timing, wrapped up tightly waiting to unfold in the most beautiful way. Rest easy, for tomorrow may bring the dawn of your own success, shimmering just beyond the horizon. Sleep well, and may your dreams be as rich as the lessons learned in the shadows. Chapter 21. The King's Terrifying Vision. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we're diving into a story more perplexing than realizing your favorite shirt has shrunk in the wash. Yes, we're delving into the ancient world of the Hyksos kings in Egypt, circa 1700 to 1600 BCE. Ah, just imagine, a land where the sun is blaring like a surprise morning alarm and the Nile flows like the most important gossip in town. Now, before we get too cozy in our historic rabbit hole, if you could spare a moment to like, subscribe, and maybe drop a comment, only if you enjoy this sleepy journey, I'd greatly appreciate it. Think of it as offering a sip of refreshing water to a wandering traveler, or in this case, a weary narrator. As you settle into your sacred space and dim the lights, let's ponder a few comically inquisitive thoughts about life in this ancient era. How did they keep their golden thrones spotless? Or did they just pretend the dirt was part of the decor? Did kings have a royal barber? Or did they just rock a natural look? And what about dining at the palace? Did they serve camels or simply stick with lentils when they had an extravagant dinner party? Picture the scene. Oh, we're having lentils again? What a legume-acular feast. Now, hold on to your tunics. Congratulations, you've just woken up in 1600 BCE. You find yourself in a lavish palace adorned with gleaming gold and intricate hieroglyphs dancing seamlessly across the walls. But the laughter of the market and the vibrant life outside is overshadowed by a significant figure, the king himself. This grand figure, seated awkwardly on his throne, is wearing a crown that looks more like a fancy fruit basket perched on his head than a regal piece of jewelry. Yes, you guessed it. It's King Al-Azhar, a ruler with a penchant for eccentric headwear and peculiar dreams. Right now, though, he's anything but relaxed. The poor man looks like a cat caught in a rainstorm, terrified and bewildered. You can almost hear his thoughts. Why did I eat that extra helping of lentils? For within the fear-filled eyes of King Al-Azhar lies the weight of an unnerving vision that has just invaded his mind. A vision that shakes him more than a camel with a bad case of the hiccups. Imagine the scene. The king, eyes wide like saucers, clutches the armrests of his extravagant throne. In his mind's eye, he sees 7 thin, gaunt cows grazing sluggishly in a desolate field. Now, these aren't just any cows, oh no. They look like they've been practicing for an eternity of famine. But wait, here come 7 magnificent, plump cows, swaggering into view like they just stepped off the cover of Cows Weekly. In a bizarre agricultural showdown, the emaciated cows blissfully devour their healthier counterparts. Yes, you heard right. Forget the World Series. This is the ultimate battle of bovine proportions. But the poor king can't help but feel like he's witnessed the plot of the weirdest horror movie ever. And the irony? He can't even be sure which side he's rooting for. As the filtered beams of sunlight stream through the high palace windows, lighting up his panicked face, you bless your lucky stars that you're not one of the advisors he's about to summon. Because if there's one thing worse than being a royal advisor in those times, it's being the poor fool who has to explain what that dream means while trying to avoid getting booted out of the palace doors. King Al-Azhar waves for his advisors with all the grace of a guy trying to swat a fly during a dinner date. Bring me the dream interpreters. I need absolute clarity on this cow catastrophe before I'm tempted to turn vegetarian. His demand echoes through the marbled hallways as he questions more than just the meaning of his dream. He is grappling with the looming uncertainties of leadership, the economies of his kingdom, and his personal dietary choices. Now, picture the chaos that ensues in this vibrant yet peculiar palace. Dream interpreters flood the hall like bees to honey, each one believing they possess the golden key to unlock the secrets of the vision. They gather around, not quite sure how to read a dream that sounds like a bizarre blend of livestock and impending doom. Is it calamity? One interpreter gasps. Or maybe just an indication to explore better pasture lands? While another simply mumbles, perhaps it's a sign to add mint to the lentils. The room buzzes with nervous speculation as the king watches with growing incredulity. You can sense the tension, high like a kite trapped in a tree. No pressure, gentlemen, the king huffs. But if you don't solve this soon, I may need to hire an actual cow as my advisor. Never underestimate a king in a panic, dear friends. You can almost feel the cotton candy clouds of uncertainty gathering over the royal court, where everyone seems to mix feudal hierarchy with cattle psychology. Whether they're nervous because they expect doom or just trying to keep a straight face during this ludicrous session is anybody's guess. And of course, as you drift into the deeper threads of this nighttime narrative, think about how this eccentric episode perhaps reflects our own lives. Sometimes, success feels like an elusive cow, pleasantly grazing but just out of reach. In those moments, may we too find humor, even in the terrors of our dreams, just like King Al-Azhar did as he faced his misfortune. A moment of laughter amongst the madness. So, my dear companions on this whimsical journey, as the sun sets on King Al-Azhar's tail and sleep begins to lull you gently, may you remember that the things we fear and the delays we experience could just be the prelude to something far grander, just waiting for the right moment to unfold. Rest easy, and let your dreams graze freely like a herd of cows in an untroubled field. Sleep well, for tomorrow may yet reveal the hidden treasures of your own life's narrative. Chapter 22, The Royal Messenger. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we take a turn so unexpected, it's like biting into a candy bar, only to discover it's filled with pickles. Yes, we're venturing deeper into the enchanting and slightly bizarre world of ancient Egypt, particularly during the time of the Hyksos kings, a period where bad hair days were probably less of a concern than navigating how to avoid stepping in camel dung. Now, if you could take a moment to like, subscribe, and perhaps comment below, only if you find this journey delightful, of course. Think of it as offering a freshly baked loaf of bread to a wandering nomad. Before we get swept away by time and history, let's ponder some peculiar questions. How did they manage to keep all that sand out of their palaces? Did they ever accidentally mix their mummies with their laundry? And imagine this scene. Did they play Pass the Pyramid at royal parties, or just settle for a good old-fashioned charades? Picture the pharaoh shouting, "I'm definitely thinking of a sphinx, but I'll settle for a cat while I'm at it." Congratulations, dear listener. You've just woken up in 1600 BCE, in a land that's doing the absolute most to impress. Yet the bewildered looks of the locals suggest that something is amiss. You find yourself now in the heart of a grand palace, adorned with gold fit for the most extravagant of Instagram accounts, with intricate hieroglyphs gracing the walls like they just came back from a spa day. But wait, the laughter of the markets outside is cut short, as a figure charges down the marbled corridors of the palace. Imagine him. Picture a royal messenger clad in fine silk, which must have cost more than your favorite car, racing toward you like he just heard the ice cream truck coming down the street. But there's no ice cream, of course, just a mission. With a dramatic flourish, he stops right in front of you. What a scene. He bows, barely, catching his breath, holding a precious scroll like it contains the secret recipe to the perfect falafel. You might even wonder, did he sprint through the hallways while thinking of how he could have just taken a chariot? "Yusuf," he announces, voice dripping with urgency, as if he just realized he forgot to water his pet cactus. "I seek your wisdom, for the king is in dire need of guidance." Imagine hearing your name echoing off the cold prison walls, a place where the air is filled with the scent of despair, not exactly the freshest of colognes. But here you are, standing in the cell of Yusuf, a man who has seen the highest peaks of grace and the lowest valleys of treachery. You can't help but raise an eyebrow, chuckling to yourself about how life has a funny way of tossing unexpected events your way. Much like those surprise sales emails from your favorite store. Only this time, potential success could actually be in the air. Surely, you think, I can't merchandise a pearly idea for the king, leaving behind my cozy cell, while making it sound like I just solved a riddle. Let's take a moment to bask in this tantalizing scene. Here you are, a languid prisoner, well, not exactly a vacation curl-up on the sands of a hotel resort. The royal messenger, panting and dramatically gesturing, awaits your response as if you just whispered the winning lottery numbers in his ear. The messenger's eyes gleam with the same hope you feel while waiting for that last slice of cake to cool. And with little hesitation, you lean against the damp wall, ready to sprinkle your wisdom like it's fresh parsley on a well-seasoned stew. You glance down at the scroll, understanding that it's not just a parchment. It holds the weight of an entire kingdom's future. Well, if the pharaoh can wear a crown that resembles a slightly squished fruit basket, surely I can muster up something clever on a night when the stars align. And then, with the dawn of realization, you remember, sometimes the delay in success is not a punishment, but a necessary pause to hone your skills, like the final touches of a potter shaping wet clay. Perhaps Allah is testing patience or gifting insight, nudging you to be ready for the opportunities that await. Here lies Yusuf, a perfect example of how trials can transform into triumphs. The messenger nods fervently, and in that moment, a flicker of energy illuminates the dark corridor where all seems lost. You channel your inner wisdom and breathe deeply. You wish for knowledge, dear sir? Let us concoct a solution together, blending it with grains of humor and cryptic wisdom, as if we were brewing the richest coffee. As you begin to weave stories of dreams and interpretations, you embrace the quirky shadows of misfortune and laughter, slowly painting a tapestry of hope, a plan that might just save a kingdom and perhaps bring a humble prisoner into the light. The journey from prison to palace isn't just a metamorphosis. It could be your very own fable of fortitude. So, my dear companions on this whimsical journey, may you drift off to sleep tonight, dreaming of royal messengers, fleeting success, and the unwavering hope that goodness is often hidden beneath the sands of time and tribulation. Sleep well, as tomorrow may unveil the secrets of your own grand narrative, waiting patiently to unfold in the twinkling stars above. Chapter 23. The Grand Scheme of Yusuf. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we're diving into something more intricate than assembling IKEA furniture without instructions. The riveting saga of Prophet Yusuf, or Joseph, if you're feeling casual. Get ready for a tale that's hotter than the desert sand. You might want to grab a glass of cool water, figuratively, of course, because we're going to wrap up this chapter with some wisdom as refreshing as a mint tea on a scorching day in ancient Egypt. But before we embark on this journey, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and maybe even drop a comment below. Only if you genuinely enjoy this, of course. It's cheese and crackers, not a hostage negotiation. Dim those lights, get comfy, maybe even fluff a pillow or two. It's time to meander through the tapestry of history, like a cat weaving through your legs while you're trying to nap. Let's ponder a few quintessential questions. If you lived in Egypt during the Hyksos kings, would you rock a pharaoh's wig? or lean into your own hair care routine? Would you opt for sandals that look chic yet secretly pinch your toes, or go barefoot like the local farmers? And imagine this. Did the Egyptians deal with sand in their hair like we deal with glitter at a party? Trust me, finding it weeks later can be a game changer. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 1600 BCE, where the weather is a solid scorching and deodorant is a foreign concept. So much for modern conveniences. Welcome to a royal palace, where every corner shimmers with gold decor fit for kings. The air carries a symphony of smells. Incense wafts through luxurious corridors, mingling with the scent of roasted lamb, making you feel like you've stepped directly into a lavish cooking show. As you step further inside, a commotion draws your attention. A regal figure adorning colorful robes and elaborate jewelry catches your eye. It's none other than Prophet Yusuf himself, the epitome of charisma, grace, and some seriously exceptional fashion sense. Picture him standing in the palace court, hunched over a grand, ornately designed map, like he's plotting the next big heist. Only this heist is the kind that saves a kingdom rather than drains it. Visualize the scene. Yusuf stands there, his dark hair slightly tousled and eyes gleaming with determination. With a calmness that could put a meditation guru to shame, he gestures dramatically at the map. A map so elaborate that you'd expect it to have its own Instagram account. "Behold, my king, the land is teeming with potential," he declares, voice smooth as honey. "But it is time we deploy a plan as clever as a two-headed coin." His words, laced with promise, ripple through the court, putting the king and his advisors in a trance deeper than that time you accidentally sat through a 3-hour documentary about mud. "We face a drought. A period of hunger looms closer than your cousin who always overstays his welcome during family gatherings," he continues, fingers dancing across the map. "What we shall do is build colossal silos to store grain, each one a fortress against the looming famine. It's time we become the architects of our own sustainability." Picture the advisors' faces, eyes wide with awe, brows raised in disbelief. It's the kind of bewilderment you see when your friends discover that the new vegan restaurant you recommended actually serves only salads that taste like sadness. They lean in closer as Yusuf delves into his grand strategy, a mix of logistical brilliance and unyielding faith. The air is thick with anticipation as he unfolds a vision like no other, a plan encompassing foresight and resourcefulness. As Yusuf speaks, he paints a vivid picture that's as detailed as the color palette of a modern art painting. The shimmering wheat fields, the towering silos, and the abundance that will once again adorn the land. "We must store our bounty like hoarders at a yard sale, even if it takes a whole slew of loyal loaves and some cunning traps to keep it all safe." Yet among the captivated crowd, one advisor dares to raise an eyebrow, perhaps fueled by skepticism or an overindulgence in last night's feast. "But what if the king prefers to spend gold on festivals rather than food storage?" he quips. Yusuf, ever the charmer, replies with a twinkle in his eye, "Why, my dear advisor, should we not celebrate a bountiful harvest rather than mourn in the drought? A proactive king keeps a good feast going for all, not just the fleeting flavor of today." The room bursts into playful laughter, and the atmosphere lifts as if a cloud of worries has vanished, swept away by Yusuf's infectious charm. Ah, there it is, the universal truth that the balance of humor and wisdom can shift the strongest winds. So there you are, witnessing the magic of a consummate leader, whose ability to turn adversity into opportunity radiates just as brightly as the sun beating down in the Egyptian afternoon. As Yusuf unfolds his grand scheme, you realize that this moment isn't just about silos and grain. It's about the dreamer's role in navigating trials, the unseen delays in success that morph into growth spurts of ingenuity. Could it be that Allah, in His infinite wisdom, sometimes puts a pause on our ambitions to cultivate resilience? Perhaps, just perhaps,
The delays we face serve as lessons leading us to the sweet rewards of timing and understanding. So, dear listener, as your eyelids grow heavier and the journey of Yusuf continues in your dreams, remember, there's profound wisdom even in the unexpected pauses. May you drift into a sleep filled with dreams of grain silos, vibrant colors, and the compelling lead role of a charming man named Yusuf, who turned challenges into triumphs like a master chef flipping pancakes in a dazzling kitchen. May your night be restful and your heart be light.
Chapter 24. The Gates of Truth and Freedom. Salam alaikum, dear listeners. Tonight we find ourselves weaving through something more layered than a baklava served on a summer day. The compelling tale of Prophet Yusuf, who finds himself at a crossroads where freedom calls, yet he stands firm. Yes, we're diving deep into the moment when Yusuf decides to forego escape, trading chains for truth. Now, before we plunge into this ancient Egyptian intrigue, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and if you really feel the vibes, drop a comment. But only if you genuinely enjoy this. It's not a hostage situation. Settle in, dim those lights, and get comfortable. Perhaps wrap yourself in a cozy blanket that smells faintly of your grandma's cooking. Let's play a quick game. Isn't it wild to think about the clothing choices people made? Would you wear a colorful robe made of cotton, or rock those chic ancient sandals that leave you 3 blisters deep by noon? And speaking of blisters, did you ever wonder how they survived without those miracle instant blister bandages? Clearly, ancient Egyptians were made of tough stuff. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 1600 BCE, where the sun shines hotter than your cousin's dance moves at the last wedding. Welcome to a royal palace, shimmering with gold and bedecked like a wedding cake with layers of treasures. You can practically taste the incense wafting through the halls. It's like someone decided to infuse a bakery with a mysterious undertone of mystery. As you wander, you find yourself drawn to the grand entrance, where a solemn yet determined figure stands. Yes, it's none other than Prophet Yusuf, who, let's be real, has the kind of hair that looks like it was kissed by the sun. And there he is, standing tall before the palace gates, not stepping into freedom like everyone expects him to. Picture this. Yusuf stands with arms crossed, a serious expression on his face, marked by a glimmer of
Resolve that says, "I'm not leaving until I get some answers." He's flanked by officials clad in flowing robes that seem to whisper secrets as they shuffle, and you can only imagine how difficult it must have been to keep their fancy headgear from slipping off. Yusuf raises his voice, a melodic blend of authority and persuasion. "Oh, officials of Pharaoh," he calls, his words slicing through the air like a refreshing breeze on a sultry day. "It is not for me to escape the confines of this palace without revealing the truth behind those dark accusations. Let's investigate. Release my name from the shroud of doubt that looms over it like a permanent dust cloud." Now, imagine standing in that court, where the tension feels palpable. You resist the urge to awkwardly fidget, fearing you might turn into one giant exposed ankle on that overly polished floor. Yusuf's stand is about more than just himself. It's a stand for justice. Think about it. He's not just Another royal playing hopscotch with his freedom. He's demanding righteousness, as if it were the main course on a lavish banquet table that everyone else is ignoring. The officials exchange glances, a mixture of curiosity and disbelief gleaming in their eyes, akin to that awkward pause when someone asks if you're really going to eat that entire cake alone. One of them finally coughs up the courage. "But what if we discover you were, in fact, guilty?" Yusuf, with a raised eyebrow, replies, "What if a banana turns out to be a snake? Would you stop eating fruit?" The air in the court hangs for a moment, then bursts forth with chuckles. Kids, adults, everyone's collected there benefits from a good laugh, even amidst serious matters. "Indeed," he continues, his voice unwavering. "By revealing the truth, we can lift the veil of deceit that hangs like an annoying fly buzzing at a picnic.
My past is but a puzzle that begs to be completed, and I desire justice, like
Everyone wants bread with honey during a feast. Dear listeners, think about it. Yusuf illustrates a profound truth here. Sometimes the universe seems to delay our progress, placing barriers in our paths like an overly enthusiastic magician. But what if these hindrances are simply life's way of training us to stand tall in the face of adversity? Those delays may well lead to the kind of triumphs that nourish our souls like a perfectly brewed cup of tea on a winter morning. And just like that, the officials rally their spirits, their brows knitting together in deep thought. Maybe, just maybe, everyone could learn something from this charismatic man with an unfaltering commitment to the truth. A commitment stronger than that last piece of baklava on the table that no one dares touch. As Yusuf eloquently navigates the waters of scrutiny, a question simmers close by. Isn't it rather amusing how a man who could easily step into freedom chooses instead to stand for truth? Maybe the universe has a peculiar way of preparing us for the challenges that await. Maybe Allah, in His infinite wisdom, delays our success just to ensure we're equipped to handle it when it arrives. So as you rest your head tonight, dear friends, let the story of Prophet Yusuf echo in your dreams, a tale where patience reigns supreme. May you drift to sleep, pondering the intricate ways Allah shapes our lives, and remember that often the wait is worth it. A timely pause that prepares us for the dance of destiny awaiting us just beyond the horizon. And with that thought, may you sink gently into slumber, snug as a bug in a rug, your dreams laced with the noble pursuit of truth. Until we meet again, Chapter 25, The Royal Tapestry of Fate. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we dive into a tale more colorful than a parrot in a paint factory, the majestic life of Prophet Yusuf. Now, while we're all raving about the glitzy Egyptian palaces, keep in mind, just because something shines doesn't mean it's all gold. Before we embark on this journey into ancient Egypt, do me a solid. Like, subscribe, and if you're feeling particularly generous, leave a comment, but only if it makes your heart flutter with joy. Now, dim those lights low enough that you can't see your snack wrappers, put on a fan to blow away the heat of modern worries, and snuggle into your pillow. Have you ever wondered how royalty bathed? Did they have a bath music playlist like we do for spa days? Or were they just stuck with the sounds of running water and awkward silence? And what about their hairstyles? Imagine spending hours making it look flawless, only for a gust of wind to turn you into a royal mess. Congratulations! You've just woken up in the flamboyant bustle of 1600 BCE, where gold is more common than your cousin's bad jokes. Welcome to a grand celebration, a festival in the dusty marketplace of Egypt, where everyone is dressed as if they were auditioning for a fashion show, complete with extravagance that would put today's runway models to shame. You stroll through the vibrant streets, where merchants yell louder than your uncle during football season. The aroma of spiced meats mingles with the sweetness of figs, and here comes Prophet Yusuf, draped in royal robes that shimmer like he's a walking treasure chest. Picture it. He's wearing a gold chain so dazzling that it could probably guide lost ships home. As you sip on your date juice, trust me, it's better than it sounds, there's a sudden commotion in the marketplace. Heads turn as a group of familiar figures, yes, those are Yusuf's brothers, appear out of the dusty crowd. They look like lost tourists who forgot their maps. You can almost hear their awkward shuffling as they approach the stall where Yusuf stands, now in a position of power. "Hey, isn't that our little brother?" one brother whispers, eyes wide. "He sure has upgraded from the old, fabulously colorful tunics." The brothers had thrown him into a well ages ago. Oops, life choices. Yusuf's gaze softens upon seeing them. Those once bickering brothers now stand before him, their memories of family grudges playing out in a world captivated by his very presence. You can sense the tension cut through the air like a hot knife through butter. The brothers bow their heads.
Quite an impressive act considering their previous schemes that involve sibling rivalry. Now, picture this moment. They're standing in the dust of Egypt, weary travelers seeking solace, yet humbled. "Please, O great man of Egypt," one brother pleads, voice trembling like a leaf in the wind. "Our land is barren, our family is hungry, and we come seeking help."
You can't help but chuckle. Imagine asking the sibling you once dumped into a well for a favor. It's like asking your childhood rival for tips on how to win at Monopoly after you douse them in all your bad luck. Yusuf, with a heart softer than the freshly baked bread around him, pauses. He considers their plea for help. He remembers the pangs of betrayal, the bitter sting that comes from family ties fraying at the edges. "You need help?" he muses, the light-hearted tone a bit of a contrast to the seriousness of their request. "Didn't you guys once debate about who could throw me down the well the best?" The brothers wince. The memories are vivid, like the paint on the walls of the marketplace around them. They bow lower now, their faces flushed. "Yes, we regret our past. Please, let us not dwell on that. We are in need." Now there's a twinkle in Yusuf's eye. "All right, my dear brothers, you can begin by making up for those past mistakes." Can you imagine what their hearts must have felt like? Half dread, half hope? The transition from whispered fears to heartfelt laughter unfolds. You realize there's strength in vulnerability, and magical healing awaits even the deepest wounds. The marketplace, bustling and lively, suddenly feels sacred, seasoned with forgiveness and humility. "Is it a deal then?" Yusuf smiles, letting the golden chain shine a little brighter at their expense. "First, let's grab a meal together. Well, who wouldn't want a feast at the royal table after all?" Their eyes land firmly on that enticing promise. Imagine the laughter and chatter as they share tales of old, even stories more exaggerated than your grandfather's "How I Walked to School in the Blizzard" saga. And oh, how the crowd around them erupts into cheers, joy echoing out across this vibrant marketplace. The feast would be a celebration not just of sustenance, but the true spirit of reconciliation. Doesn't it make you feel all fuzzy inside? Like you just found an old childhood toy that you thought you'd lost forever? So, dear listeners, tonight, as you lay your head down, let the stories of Prophet Yusuf whisper you into a soothing slumber. Remember, sometimes success isn't merely about the gold chains and royal robes. It's about the richness of love, family, and the fact that, sometimes, those who may have hurt us can also surprise us with acts of pure kindness and redemption. May your dreams be as beautiful as a marketplace alive with laughter and forgiveness. For tomorrow is another page in your own grand story. Until we meet again, as the night grows quieter, let's take a final moment to reflect on the long road we've traveled together. We've walked through betrayal and loneliness, through dusty marketplaces and cold stone prisons, through moments that felt unbearably heavy, and others that were quietly, almost absurdly human. We've seen how a single day in the past could demand more patience, more endurance, and more faith than many of us are asked for in a lifetime. And sometimes, all you could do back then was laugh softly at the unfairness of it all, because tears took too much energy. Yet through every hardship, we witnessed something remarkable: resilience. The kind that doesn't shout, the kind that waits. People endured injustice, hunger, fear, and years of uncertainty, not because it was easy, but because they trusted that hardship was not the end of the story. Like Prophet Yusuf, they rose each morning without answers, carrying dignity even when life stripped everything else away. Tonight, as you rest safely where you are, let yourself feel gratitude for the comforts around you. Clean water, a quiet room, a soft place to lie down, the simple luxury of rest without fear. These are blessings once unimaginable to many who came before us, people whose struggles shaped the world we now inherit. And now,
There is nothing left for you to do. No waiting to endure, no outcome to control. Just breathe slowly. Let the weight of the day dissolve. Let Allah's perfect timing hold what you cannot. As your thoughts grow softer and your breathing steadies, allow sleep to arrive gently, like mercy, unannounced but right on time.